saying, dreams do come true. I'm heading to VCT Masters after over 7 years.
Wow.
Do you
Let's
have
go.
any idea what I've been through in these past 7 years? The purple looks so beautiful. He is coming in at the age of 25, Mel. Normally,
Wow.
with these players on their first global event, they're like 18, 19. So a long time coming, and I just want the fans to get behind him and see how he can IGL this team up against the likes of SEN.
How can you not? Like, that is such an inspiring story. 7 years in the making to make this stage. That's such a special moment for him and the rest of his team. And I'm sure they want to do it for themselves, but also do it for him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like similar stories in the past, I feel like, right? Even across the stage with like a Junk UT that had fought through tier 2 for so long, finally got there. Well, his first Masters, you know, he's up there winning the whole
2 of Masters Toronto.
Which team will rise up to the occasion to become the next Masters? Toronto, let's get this started!
뭔가 MIBR을 맞춰서 경기를 한다는 느낌보다는 그냥 저희가 준비하던 대로 사실 저는 뭐 앞으로 무엇이 걸려있다 이런 것보다는 사실 저는 지금 당장에 있는 상황이 되게 중요하다라고 생각을 하는 사람 중 하나라서 일단 매 경기가 저한테 있어서는 너무 소중할 것 같고
I like to take the leadership role. I think it's something very important. I want my team to be feeling well so we can do well in the matches. Right now, I think that's my role outside of the game.
근데 뭐 사실 그러니까 아스파스 선수 자체는 되게 많이 리스펙하고 엄청 탑급 선수라고 생각을 하긴 하지만 뭐 그렇다고 해서 저희 팀원들이 뭐 밀린다라고는 딱히 생각을 안 해가지고
Both teams are thinking the same thing. What edges out the victory in those moments, I think it's the team that is more prepared than the team that has a higher skill ceiling.
MIBR에는 이제 아스파스가 있다고 말을 많이 하지만 이제 젠지에 내가 있다고.
Sentinels, can they do it?
I think it's important to recognize that you can't be perfect, no matter how planned you are with what you have as a team.
SEN, dropping like flies!
The other team could throw something at you that just destroys that whole plan. But I think you should just keep trusting your gut and keep playing.
I think to win the mental game, you need to be in a higher spirit than the other team. Be calm, take a deep breath, and then just play like it's a normal day. If you yourself can't find your footing, definitely your team still can.
My specialty is like psychologically getting in their head.
The only team I'm worried about is G2. The rest are dog shit. So.
There's so many teams that I'll just like mess with off stage before we even get on stage, and then they're nervous or they're overthinking.
Zelsis is always shouting.
What are you guys doing?
Let's say you're losing and you're getting shouted at, it's definitely gonna affect you.
The mental game is always one when you have no mental.
Sentinels will do a lot of talking, but I'll just let my gun on the server do the work.
Versus WOL.
Wolves have never made it to a global stage before, and their first opponent will be Sentinels. Talk about rising to the occasion. Usually, I don't think teams want to even face them, let alone making their debut against them.
Not at all. You couldn't come up with two different stories for these two teams. The first time for Wolves and for Sentinels coming back after bombing out of Masters 1 in Bangkok. Now for them, failure isn't an option again. This is what they must do, win here to redeem themselves.
Yeah, and now if we talk about the meta of the game, the map pool, some people might be looking at this team thinking, what is John QT gonna play? But they don't have Fracture anymore. Sunset is back. This is a buff for Sentinels.
Absolutely, they've been this patch has really benefited them in the map pool change. They used to permaban Fracture, but what I'm really looking at is how that info initiator role is going to play out between Narrate and John QT.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's options, right? Are they still going to be playing double initiator? Is John going to be playing Sova thing? Probably not. Is he going over to Breach, letting Narrate play a Sova? That makes a little bit more sense. Or do we see Sentinels go back into playing double Senti ideas? That's definitely an option on a lot of maps.
Was giving it back to Zelsis. How many times have have you seen that? Matching him on the vibes already, Mel, but the server is where it's actually going to count.
Yeah, I mean, like they said, I'm going to have my gun in the server do the shooting and speak for me, so I'm really interested to see if that's going to be the case here for Wolves.
Yeah, but Mel, you can speak a bit to this as well, like playing on a big stage like this, like when already the adrenaline is pumping before you get in the server, that game can explode so quickly, right? Your heart rate is bumping. Those first rounds can either give you this huge high or drag you down to the ground.
And I love that the IG on the WOL side is not afraid to answer to Zelsus' energy.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Yinzu. I think that normally one of two things happens. When someone like Zelsus is yelling at you from across the stage and making a lot of big movements with their body, either you try to ignore them and you try to do that nonchalant, ice cold kind of attitude, or you fight back and you show them. And it's honestly, I like doing the latter, where you kind of meet them where they're at, meet their energy with your own, because that honestly lets out a lot of your adrenaline, and it's just fun. I mean, at the end of the day, you see them sitting across from you, like, don't you want to say something?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But looking at the map pool here, I don't think many people would have expected this insta sunset ban.
No, getting rid of that one, even though Sentinels have played that map quite a bit in the past. I'm also a little surprised seeing Wolves going over onto Split. This is a map that historically has looked very good for Sentinels. Back when they won Masters Madrid, Split was their bread and butter. But their Split looks a lot different these days. They've only been running the tail on that. They've been playing no Sentinel on the map. So they have to come up with something new here for their first showing in Toronto.
This veto has me completely off guard to seeing Icebox as the decider, and also Lotus. I think that's a map that these teams aren't necessarily. I think Sentinels is a team that doesn't necessarily like to play Lotus that much, and Wolves is someone that does. So it must be that there is a lot of going on in the scrims with the new patch, with the new maps, and with the lack of Teo here that has completely changed the map pool.
Yeah, and with Pearl, you know, there's a different conversation today. Both teams, they love to play Pearl, but even if you have all of the experiences in VCT CN on Pearl, do you dare to take Sentinels on Pearl?
That is a dangerous prospect. I don't think I would personally if I was up there, but these Sentinels, they've been looking strong. And honestly, I kind of want to hone in on our first map of Split a little bit, because it was interesting looking at Wolves. They earlier this year were playing no Taeho, right? Initially, right? Taeho was a little bit late to come into China, so they were playing some double Senti ideas. As a matter of fact, they're playing Cypher plus Buys on the map with Solo Sky as an option. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Solo Sky, but there are some tapes that you could go back to for them to come up with a plan on Split.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that because I'm thinking either they go Sky, or a lot of teams prominently have been playing Fade as well here, and I think that can work really well with double Sensi with the Haunt coming in. I mean, we saw it in APAC as well, how much value that Haunt gets on the A site. I can see it going either way for the Initiator.
Especially if you are running something, instead of like a Raze on that map, you're going to play a Yoru, for example. You still have some flashes to play, a Vise if they wanted to go into that too. You can find options to give yourself flashes that aren't just in a Sky or a Breach slot that's so common on the map.
I mean, for Sentinels, they are also very familiar with how Sky works on Split. People have this the recency bias of, you know, these NA teams are going to struggle because the Yoru Techo Breach was a crutch, but are they forgetting what Sen used to do on Split?
Exactly right, because I think Sentinels have played two very distinct styles when you compare 2024 to 25, right? In 2024, it was a lot of like double smokes plus Sentinel, like the Viper was getting played a lot. It was all about controlling the map, slow, using a lot of these smokes. With John QT's role swap into 25, they switched over to playing double Initiator on a lot of maps. John QT was playing Initiator too, so it was much more about side execs, a lot more micro of their plays instead of calling the slow macro style. And I think with Teo out of the meta, they could very easily pivot back to that old style.
Exactly, and I think a big part of it is what you just said, is pivoting. And I think Sentinels is a team that is so storied on Split. There's so many historical matches that so many of us have loved and rewatched over and over again. And even teams in Tier 2, Tier 1 have watched to learn from. And I think they're a team that really, truly understands Split top to bottom, regardless of comp, because of how many cons they've played and just how good they are on the map. So I'm honestly shocked, and I really think that Sen is going to take Split.
Yeah, but that's what I would love to see, the reason as to why Wolves felt confident enough, right? To just go in there. And we've heard already from some of the players, you know, the coaches have been doing a lot of counter-stratting. They've been on it. And Fade is definitely somebody we expect to bring in something, a good game plan, so to say.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing for me looking at Wolves is sort of how they play their mid-rounds. Because a lot of teams in the mid-round, they'll show some like fake information. They'll try to throw you off. Wolves usually just go dead quiet and they'll start slowly creeping forward. So it can be very hard, especially if you're playing a more passive game style on the defensive side versus Wolves, to actually know what they're doing. And that's where they can be so lethal.
And I think that contact style of play that they're going for can be countered by Sentinels if they get that off online early, and if they win those contact fights, rifle v rifle.
Well, we are
Classic
into
SEN.
Agent Select. Just to remind you guys, it is live. The gray right now is the hovers from our players, and Yukal and Juicy have already locked in.
Please give me classic Sentinel
Oh,
John
but it's
QT
so-
back on Cypher.
It's so, this is just too tried and tested at this point, right?
I mean, the second Sky hovers has me wondering a little bit that there has to be a
The
little
rolls
bit
are
of play
cooked, I fear.
I mean, I'm refusing to believe that.
Spring?
I'm refusing to believe it.
Oh no, Spring was for a second hovering the Waylay over there, but the Viper wouldn't surprise at all. He's been a pretty solid, fragging Viper player in CN.
Again, Spring has a lot of experience playing Duelist even within this year. He is so powerful, especially later into a round. I mean, looking at the lock-in, John has locked the Sky. So you've been playing exclusively Teo on this map this year. It's going to be Sentinel's same comp as Stage 1, just subbing out Teo for the Sky. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Narrate's Breach, I remember my own team, we VOD reviewed so much of Sentinels, and how they play Breach on Split is super key and extremely fundamental to how they play their defense especially. Narrate gets so much value out of his reads early on, before the freeze time even ends, where he's going to position himself early to capitalize on those stuns.
But the important thing for Sentinels, he's starting on the defensive side, is the mid-rounding, right? When information is taken away from them, how do you actually scout? Sky, not great at scouting. You have the dog and a couple of flashes only to be able to work with, and they don't have a dedicated Sentinel, so a lot of pressure onto Zekin to find the timings to be a human drone to take forward lines, and Wolves are going to try to exploit that.
Yeah, and for Sufat, no Teho, like he said, but the Fade.
The Fade coming in, we've
Love
seen
it.
Fade so much on Split. I'm super excited for this match.
Well, this is the true David and Goliath matchup, and the same could be said for our casting duo. I'll let you decide who's who. Take it away, Uber and Wyatt.
Last time we saw Sentinels at a global event, they bombed out in the biggest way possible. Talk about road to redemption for this America's superstar team. But Wolves on the other side come into this tournament, White, with everything to prove.
They're going in as by far the least expected team to be at this event. People questioning, did they make it just because of the EDG fall-off? Do they deserve to be here? Well, Sufat said that dreams do come true. Everything he's been through for years have led to this moment, what he's been working for, the IGL of this team, seeking an upset win, picking a map that has traditionally been a home for Sentinels since the iteration of the Celsius John QT roster began. Do they have it in them?
All right, Toronto, one more time. Make some noise. Sentinels versus Wolves starts now. Sense that on defense side here on the pistol, and already Zekin's looking to take a decent amount of real estate here on that B side of the map. Gate crash across the map that will allow for a quick rotate.
This comp from Sentinels, certainly not lacking in flashes. They can get very proactive, popping out of smokes, past walls. Second right now wants to take contact off this flash, but shut down. Juicy and Spring.
Flash was good. Can't complain about it. Wolves though were ready to take the fight there. Celsius affected by paranoia, and this is awkward. The wall is dropped. He's going to have to take this fight, and Juicy rips him a new one. John can barely peer out of defense side. Spring sees him cross. Banks trying to get some sort of position towards Heaven side now as the plant goes down. The veteran Lysor gets it in there.
Bang understands that this flank from YU is likely coming, spotted out, but now this Cypher just needs to stay alive, bide some time, distract them. Fair enough. Time is dropping, and I love this reflank coming in from Sufat.
Yeah, they're on a timer. There's also going to be presence from Heaven. Spring's going to get there! It's Lysor! What an opener! Basically every kill, a headshot there for Wolves. And they were ready for the trap send late at B.
There's going to be so much proactivity like that from Sentinels here on defense. So if Wolves can continue to nullify that, flash turned by both players, quick on that reaction. And look at these taps from Lysor, who is by far the most experienced player on this Wolves team when it comes to international events. Every single one he attended with FPX in 2024. That experience is going to need to come into play to keep the rest of these guys in it. He's been such a consistent force for them.
Tech falls down on the stage. A keyboard issue being cited. So we have at least a chance to try and establish ourselves now at the start of this game, because John QT picking up the sky here. Obviously, we're very used to seeing this team just force Taeho every single map. We got teased a little bit on Agents, so like thinking maybe we would head back to the Cypher. But this is the look that SEN have sort of settled on. Obviously, Zekken still going to be on that Yoru, a huge component of their run. A big recovery when they got back to the Americas region after that shocking start in Bangkok. Can they carry them further?
One of the big gameplay narratives coming into this year with Sentinels, when 10 Saucy departed, they need to reformat how they're approaching the game, was why is John not playing Sentinel when you have Narrate coming in, who was such a great initiator in EMEA last year? And at times it certainly felt awkward. The fans of the team, when they were in a bit of disarray, were questioning those role swaps. Is that the reason for some of those early struggles? And it all made sense when John was able to pretty much play Taeho on almost all the maps, occasionally playing the Breach, and Narrate will pick it up, right? And that just seemed to smooth things over. So now that we're back in a Taeho-less world, will things be as smooth as they were for SEN when they were the only Americas team to beat G2 in that first stage? Or is it going to be an adjustment period for them?
Conversely, Wolves also were a really Taeho-reliant team. They're playing that Agent in the past on most of their maps as well. Tech pause sorted. We're going to be jumping back into the game now. It's Wolves, of course, on their anti-eco.
Brought up a couple rifles, just going to leave that Ghost towards Spring, who's going to be surely trying to lurk, take a couple engagements with no upgrade here. Look at this from Wolves. This is really right now telling the story of what they know they're up against. At any moment, there could be multiple flashes with a fault line coming right at them, especially on an eco round. So they are taking their sweet, sweet time. We're already 40 seconds in and they're chilling.
Delta took a big hit there. Some spray potentially as the Poison Orb came up in mid. That trap wire indicates that Wolves may not opt to stay at the A side. They're hoping to tease something out. Here's a flash mid for a re-clear. Nothing spotted by SEN. Now they'll disperse a little further. At least Zekken will move back towards Heaven. That's a ping from Wolves, though, in mid. They're starting to make this move on A.
We are down to 45 seconds, so there is no map control right now for Wolves. Look at SEN. They've read the situation. They're pivoting over, and certainly that trailblazer broken, they'll know.
Now time getting a little even lower. Where do Wolves go from here? Hit by the fault line, unable to make that execute onto A, but Spring has started to create an opening here through mid. Center responding, though.
They're on the full rotate. Now Spring is going to beat them there. The rest of the team should be able to get to Heaven. Do they have a smoke to actually cut this off? With a molly, that will do the job. 20 seconds just cross into the site. Still time is so low.
Horn confirms no players for Sentinels are in this part of the site for now, so in they go. Lysol just want to stand up over towards here, that defense sworn choke.
10 seconds left.
The attack side will have themselves a plan. SEN not able to create any trap opportunities early in the round. Only equipped with classics. There's not a whole lot to be done.
These guys are giving me some serious anxiety with that late rotate. SEN was stacked up and ready now. It's just about Wolves cleaning this up with ease.
Spring and Lysol going to be grouped up here in the back of sight. They're going to be facing down a bunch of classics. This should be easy enough for them, but Dorain's able to find Juicy. Guiding Light goes in, does find a ping. But the wall gets thrown up here by the attack side. They can sit happily behind that now, and they handle Sentinels, corral them into the site, and walk out of the round with 3 rifles.
All of the important guns carried over from Wolves. Dangerous for a moment there. SEN were so aware of what they were doing, and that was a round where Wolves, it was looking like they were a little too apprehensive about how offensive this SEN comp is going to be on defense. But once they're set up here, that wall to play off that you called out is really going to simplify things for Wolves. And credit them, I mean, they did get to this site with everybody alive. And it's a pretty clean anti-eco overall. Let's get into this bonus round.
One thing we're looking for is we're looking to see if Wolves can make adaptations on the fly. In the past, they really stuck to plan A and didn't really change things up when things got weird mid-round. One of the criticisms has been leveled at them.
And certainly one of the reasons that the run to get here was so volatile. You know, winning a clean 2-0 over Billy, qualified and losing 0-3. Here's Juicy trying to press up towards mid. An incredibly aggressive player, specifically when he's on this duelist, on this map even. He is a menace.
Look at his space. Juicy's getting a lot of room up mid, but Zelsis plants his feet, ready to receive him. But at the same time, the push is coming to the B side, but Bang is hidden.
Spring is so aware.
Oh, that's straight through smoke, Lysor. You can't be doing that. Now Zekin and John are a little bit split from each other. John attempts a volley, and YU just blows him up. Zekin just has to walk away with his gun intact. There's not much else to do.
Free little upgrade for YU on the bonus round conversion. Zekin forced to save. Bank broken for SEN. Wolves with all the momentum in the world early. What a play from Spring. Now he is a man on this team that shows absolutely zero fear. Reckless abandon at times. Often getting him punished, but feels just as often when you watch this guy. He is going to outright win rounds for this team. I just love that awareness from him, realizing that Bang is going to be playing around the cloud that he had up. He drops and he's posted for the duel. That is insane.
He's the kind of player, even as a Viper player, that loves to just stand out in the open and take these duels. Sometimes early in the round, so it's been exploitable in the past for Wolves, but in that situation, it was just what they needed to control B.
So when you're on attack and you're getting clean 1v1 wins over Bang anchoring a site, you're earning my respect, because these are the situations where Bang is at his finest.
Zelsa's the only player for Sentinels who's really able to have any stopping power in that round. As that poison orb came down, he was just too slow to the punch. Rough starting for Sentinels. We've got him mic'd up. That's an interesting decision.
We're going to see a lot of stayers on this half by very North America coded of SEN to be bringing these in.
Bring them down.
The expert region with one of the silliest guns in the game.
Blinded.
They really want this mid control, Sen. Have already thrust Zekin straight down. And Wolves almost playing, again, very passively early, just like we saw in that anti-eco round. Two players grouped up towards Ramen, but Zekin's got a pretty far forward on Bang. Sufat's able to spot it out, though. Of course, Gate crashes away. Now Wolves do have to re-clear mid to some degree, but they're starting to encroach on A, and they've got a local player advantage here.
Juicy has worked some nice space here. YU spamming through. SEN, again, they are rotating heavily to where Wolves have made noise. This is really reminiscent of that eco round they had earlier. They are stacked up on the proper site, and it looks like Wolves want to force the issue.
Oh, this could be dangerous, though. Zekin from within the dark cover, but Juicy takes the fight to them. That, however, though, is where the Stingers thrive. Juicy is cut down. 40 seconds left in the round, and here at least Wolves are changing things up. You'll note that Lysor has taken the spike across towards mid. They have, though, left Spring here.
30 seconds left.
Does Lysor dare try to take this spike towards B? Do Wolves attempt to pivot? They're going to. He should be able to get a free plant. Doesn't look like Bang is going to be in position to stop that again. They're going so late, man. We've got 15 seconds on the clock, but they should be able to get the spike down. SEN do recover another upgrade. Gun to narrate. Oh my god, this could be everything.
He has the gun.
This could be everything on the round.
The rate gets past them, but the timing here is very tight. Sufat is likely to come up behind Sentinels here, and they may not be ready for a bated breath here as Wolves try and close the net. But John wins out against Spring. Sufat has to go large here, but he doesn't have much to shoot at. Sees John. Trigger discipline. Pays off. Now he's got that heaven control. Sentinels are starting to filter out onto the site. Lysor waiting. Dark cover blooms. He'll see it all here and brings Zelsis to heal. The shot through the smoke might be too much in the hand of Sufat from the rafters. Can finish the job. That's 4 for the Fade and 4 for Wolves.
The IGL of Wolves. Speaking of how much this tournament meant to him, comes up in a crucial round where SEN could have halted the momentum they've got from winning that bonus on the prior. The patience here. Beautiful flank, and then able to just snap onto the remaining Sentinel players while they were distracted by Lysor in the site. 3v4, 1 out. A couple rounds where SEN had to read on what Wolves are doing, putting them in a horrendous time situation, but they are still able to win it out.
Now those Sentinels do have their rifles back to hand. Okay, Zekin. Coming off second best in that early encounter. Spring always up for a fight.
He will not shy away from taking a duel like that. Wolves are getting some space up here towards mid. Last time when this was the case, we saw Juicy just double satchel straight into heaven, and the rest of his team got caught off by Amali. Sometimes situations like that were their undoing in the qualifying runs. With the adjustment, his aim is sick.
And that was after Zekken pulled back from mid, so now Sentinels do not have information about that part of the map. They've got no idea that Wolves have concentrated their players towards his A side. Bang's about to get awful busy. The highest ACS and KPR controller in America's playoffs. A real standout player is about to have his hands very full. Will spray through, Silfat feels the burn. The Wolves are milling about here over towards main now, looking to take that ramp control, but look at Sen, they are going to get some players up ropes.
3 players potentially to fight here for Sen. Juicy going to cross. Second a bit too far, or John rather, with that Trailblazers. Elsis, does he have an opportunity to get off the rope? No, he's just feeling the danger, the pressure. Bang is going to have to at least get one here.
Oh, the timing!
Only 2, what a fault line!
Perfect setup, and Bang brings the house down! They really needed that!
The stun from Nere was perfect, made it absolutely effortless for one of the best anchor defensive players in the game. Flash as well, picks on everybody.
They were trying to run through maple syrup, Wyatt. Do not recommend.
Spike down.
Third round, where Wolves had intentions of going A. This time they commit, and Sen have the full rotate, the full read on them. This is the first time they've actually been able to convert that, though, where they've been able to use that overwhelming initiator utility to halt them at a choke point when they're dropping out of heaven.
Still a timeout here called for Sentinels. They obviously want to build off that very important round 5 win. And I think they're probably cottoned on to the fact that Wolves are playing at the speed that should allow Sentinels to set up the traps just like that. Have a little bit of advance notice, providing they can maintain some map presence and get some information in those mid rounds.
When we do head back into this on round 6, Wolves are 1 orb away from 4 different ultimates right now. So you have to imagine out of this Sen, they could be setting up a trap. If there's a fight from Wolves to get an orb over to Juicy, maybe get him that showstopper, that Sen are going to trigger some kind of fault line into a flash. Second swinging off that. Something that Sentinels are going to have to consider here.
Zekken struggling with these early encounters with Spring so far, Wyatt. Just a slower start for the Yoru.
Keep up. That's after being on an absolute heater run in the Americas playoffs. Zekken was an unbelievable duelist there. Early aftershock is going to allow Zekken to press up into main, specifically playing off of that dark cover too. So Wolves are going to have to invest some resources, at the very least this Prowler, to regain space, but that's not enough to force Zekken away.
That interesting Viper wall that cuts mid. Wolves looking to make use of that to gain some space, but Zekken eventually has to give up B main.
Enough resources committed, and that dark cover dropping. He knows he's in significantly more danger than. Wolves going to pivot towards mid. YU has just been ensuring that no one from Sentinels has pushed too far on this A side. They want to go for the split at the moment.
This is dangerous.
This is the weakest the A site has been in terms of numbers for Sen, when Wolves are actually going to hit it.
Bang can sense here. You can sense something's a bit wrong, Wyatt. And risk of getting pinched now as that Heaven control's been effortlessly taken by Wolves. Give it over by Sen. This is the position Bang was playing from the previous round. Is Juicy double satchel into elbow. Presumably, oh, it's a devastating push.
I know exactly.
And there it is, Nare just handled.
30
Spring
seconds
is
left.
nasty. Zekken and Zelsa's doubled up here. Trying to find a way back in, but that poison orb is going to deny any more progress. Fernandez walking away from this.
Spring always hungry for more, wants to go for the pre-fire even. I mean, the Sen economy isn't great, but neither is Wolves. They would love to carry all of these guns over. Juicy in that round comes up huge on the double satchel. John just not prepared for him to go through elbow, through the molly that was thrown down on the ground. Those are the plays that Juicy will come up with, because he is just so insanely aggro with the satchels. He will commit so hard on those jumps, sometimes going too far. There isn't a follow-up, but when he succeeds, it will outright win rounds for this Wolves squad.
And you can see Sentinels insisting on trying to take some control of the extremities. Into B main, Zekken pushed early in the round. Over on the A side of the map, we saw Bang try and get forward towards YU, but the Cypher from Wolves is not giving anything to Sentinels, playing very passive around their trip, and then Juicy with his free, essentially, heaven control, has a fantastic execution.
Even in that moment too, Bang felt like he needed to get out of dodge, back screens, there was so much pressure, so he just had the teleport out and was caught by the spam from Spring, who's at a cool 8-2 right now, 6 rounds into the game. He's been getting pivotal first bloods, some nice multi-kills as well.
Same as previously. Aftershock dark cover just to take that B main control initially. Zekken though's been moved to A.
The importance of this round for SEN cannot be understated. This is their economy on the line. You're going to assume they'll probably be using the Seekers at some point to win this out if they can. This would be worth 2 for Wolves. Oh, and Zekken! He can't even get away in time!
YU Anko too sharp, and straight away we're into the site. Showstopper pop to clear it. Good peek in there from John. Gets down Ramson, at least extracts Spring. A big issue for SEN so far, but Juicy's playing up close here, and Narrate cannot win the fight against Sealfat. John wants to get there. Oh, they're waiting for him. Juicy sat there and tells us down to a boombot. Okay, it's on Bang. It's doable. Fake TP now, try and pull the wool over Wolves' eyes, but they're looking for him. YU with the cam, that has to be cleared.
That's going to give away Bang's position. Crucial for Wolves. They can double up, try to face this elbow.
On the angle, it will be Sealfat taking a solo fight. Bang just gets ahead of it. He says, "You're not coming to me? I guess I'm coming to you." 5 bullets in the chamber and he wins it out. Well, that one could have gone either way. That's got Jordan on his feet. Some confidence maybe for SEN now.
Must win round. Economy was hanging in the balance. I imagine Wolves win that round war through. They get to 7 already on split attack. Major deficit that SEN would have had to overcome. Zekken is just, wow. He's in disbelief at how quick that was.
It's a tight angle to be fair. What's else to say here? Falling the wrong way of the boombot.
You can see SEN there, we're trying to flood back in again. That should be their forte with this comp. They have so many positions to get out through the smokes, but Wolves had fantastic positioning to deny the players like John, who's pooling out of heaven.
Viper's pit towards mid. SEN have really given up this part of the map in the last couple of rounds. This time, though, they stake their claim. Not again. Zelsa's having to play through that part of the map with the Judge. Bang has the gap in the poison orb here, but Spring is very much aware of it. Damn, tears strips off him.
He's so good, man. Spring is a menace right now.
But now a break in the action as Wolves look to concentrate over towards this A side of the map where it's really only John in attendance.
Yeah, currently just Jiggle peeking.
I saw it.
They're going to send out that flash, perhaps for additional info, but no, isn't going to do so. Just wants to play off Narrate, who's now jump spotting the cross.
John here with a bit of spray. Lysor takes a glancing blow. Okay, looks like that fault line does connect. Slows Wolves up further. Again, we're heading to the 30-second mark in the round, but they begin to have it once more. The timing! John! At least he's never
self-stun.
He's got to fight his way out of the corner, but he can't. Caught by the C's. Narrate, though, plants his feet. Sees the double swing coming in, but he's good for it!
Spike down A.
Now Sealfat stuck in screens. Spike too far away to recover. SEN looking like they can carry 3 rifles out of the round. Bang won't give him more than that. Wolves, they bleed the clock a lot. 30-second mark, they go for it and they fizzle as they try and hit A.
SEN again, they're able to get 3 players over to that A site in time. Juicy gets a lovely first kill onto Zekken. I think that was John got 1 while still in up. Yeah, he does. That is so important from John. After getting self-stunned by the close-range Trailblazer. Look there, then. That is a beautiful little transfer when Lysor tries to double swing.
That puts the Rolling Thunder online here for Sentinels. Now, last round they had the Viper's Pit to take that mid control. This time, not an option.
Second's actually picked up the Outlaw into this round. Multiple players that could be one shot.
Horn cleared as the Poison Orb blooming in mid.
And this time it's actually Bang who's up really deep in B main. Typically it has been Zekin.
Zilfet's down to 10. He took a hit from that Outlaw. Zelsa's back away into ropes. You can see Zekin now has found himself elsewhere. This is hot and heavy stuff through mid, and Juicy's able to bring Zelsa's down.
What a double swing. That was excellent from Wolves.
Now I might see a push here out of B main. But Spring is playing so passively, so safe, and Bang can't get a look at him. Instead, tries to sneak up and has an off angle to play with now. He's into Ramen.
Oh, a little bit of damage. Ryu, but I mean, ambitious to be fighting that with the classic brother. Wolves have gotten their way into the B site though, knowing it's vacant due to Bang having pushed out the other player going down. John concerned, clearing out Heaven, try from Lightstorm, but SEN are good for 2. Everything on the very low HP Sufat.
Scrappy round considering Wolves didn't really have a full buy to work with. Sufat with 10 health. You can't leave Sufat. What? Red Bull clutch!
Impossible clutch, no HP! Just the Sheriff! The trade wasn't fast enough from SEN. They cannot be losing that.
He took an Outlaw hit at the start of the round. With the Sheriff, he proved that the town ain't big enough for the 2 of them. Or 3 in that case. Unbelievable, it's barely checked for.
He ate that Outlaw shot earlier. One of the only players that actually had full armor. I think there were 2 for Wolves.
Yeah, that's a stand-up. That's a stand-up.
Even the little bicep flex. Did you see me in the gym earlier? No,
that was Forsaken.
Down there. Forsaken. That boy's looking shredded, not gonna lie.
I mean, you have got to call your timeout here. This is the second Sentinels timeout for the map. Called in round number 10. Kaplan very adamantly trying to assert himself here. As that really should have been a SEN round, dead to rights. It's that individual brilliance that really comes to shine on a stage like this one, Wyatt. Nobody could have seen that coming.
Wolves were doing a great job controlling the map early, but Bang, heroic again in that round. He gets that trade on the Spring, catches out Wyu, who's playing from sewer, then they get in 3v3, they trade things down. There's just no way they should lose that. There's just no way. Sufat is on one at the moment, and this is just an aspect of Wolves. They are volatile, but when these players are hitting on the same day, they have shooters. They are so dangerous. But when things are going wrong, they're disjointed, they just look like a totally different team. You didn't know which one you're gonna get, but we got Wolves at their finest to open up this game.
Spring actually wants to challenge the smoke here.
It's playing off that wall. Earlier was very passive when this dark cover was up.
He has to suspect that maybe the Ori's got tucked there in B main. We'll check back in on that story.
Paranoia is going to keep Juicy at bay, but Bang still feels like he needs to give up a fair amount of that space. SEN are making a multi-man pivot towards this A site. I mean, typically when noise had been made there, Wolves are just hard committing. You know, they had a couple rotates to be, but that was like 20 seconds left. SEN have typically had a great read on these situations.
Once again, Wolves using every second of the round to explore the map, and Juicy explores the inside. Bang's cranium, what? He just takes the fights and wins them. That severely reduces SEN's presence on A. Even John peels off from screens maybe to go back around, but it's a heaven fight brewing. Celsius seems to know it. It's a really labored pick there from Lysol that allows Celsius to find his own 2.
He knows the only way back in the round. Playing a weird off angle, second.
Finally wins that fight, Wyatt.
Spring has been so dangerous towards B.
30 seconds left.
Cam cleared. Looks like the move is over towards ropes here for Wolves. SEN have all pulled back to the B site.
This A site is going to be completely open. Juicy, with all of the kills he's been finding, has the showstopper active. That could be the crux of a round win. In fact, look at his position. He's pushing all the way through screens right now. He wants to take an early fight. This dimensional drift, that's going to spot him out. I mean, this is a must-win right now for SEN. Look at their economy. Has to be committed.
In fact, Juicy can't gun down another brace of 2 this time, but out. But dimensional drift comes second. He is handled. Wyu is ready for the clone. Here's the double swing now through elbow. He's low. In the war of attrition, 1 out by Sentinels. Gets him within a 2-round striking distance. Boy, they've had to fight tooth and nail for every single one of these rounds.
Zelsis is simply the hero of this round. Juicy winning 2 isolated 1v1s. And Zelsis knows someone has to be the guy to save this round. I might as well do it. I'm just gonna play a weird off angle when they push up into heaven. I just have to get a multiple. That's the only way back in, and he pulls it off.
Round 11 coming at you. That showstopper still there for Juicy. Rolling Thunder for Narrate.
Hell of a lot of ults right now for Wolves. They've got that showstopper to get into a site or even one away from the Nightfall and then throw down that pit to close things out in the post plant.
Narrate here just going to play up that fault line in case there's a faster hit in towards B main. Oh, spring court. Second sees it. Nice little 1-2 punch, but quickly Juicy activates over at the A side, and John QT is blown to smithereens. Bang was hoping to find Sufat there, but the Crowler comes out instead. And Lysor is a little bit out of steam.
He is so overextended and caught. If Sufat can get this spike down, he's going to have the Nightfall. That could be enough to turn the tide, despite being at a man disadvantage right now for Wolves.
Neural theft there for YU. Gatecrest sent across to the A side now. It's going to be Juicy sat in elbow.
They have slowed things down, not trying to commit to the plant at the moment.
What is the plan supposed to be? Sufat obviously spike carrier. He's inching forward.
This has been enough time for Narrate's fault line to actually cycle back up. So when the spike does eventually get tapped, there's even more util for Sen to flood in off of.
Okay, I think Sen still confirmed though the Wolves are staying here. Here's the Rolling Thunder. This could get ugly. YU on Rafter finds one, but second trades it instantly. Cancel from the shadows. At least on the off angle. They're not checking it. Bang's having a salvage now for the 1 versus 1. No plant yet. He's caught with a use out.
There's just no way they should be winning this round. There's just no way. Sen man advantage, massive util advantage. Wolves slow down the game. Less time when they actually have to get the spike down, where Sen can exploit that by flooding in, pressuring so hard. They just don't check that corner. They don't think he can be tucked.
I definitely think there's some overheating going on in the Sen camp now, and there's no more opportunities for Kaplan to intercede.
That looks like a bit of frustration coming out from Narrate late in this half.
Attempt. Bang goes to take that 1 versus 1.
Look at the buy now from Sen, their last chance to get around on split defense. Only 4 to their name before the side swap.
And this time there's a lot more presence in B main. Zekinen had to be ready in the double swing, catches him off guard. Narrate peels off the line, doesn't want to handle it.
Wolves, in this round, they say, all right, Spring, you're starting to have a little trouble. Let's get you some backup, stack up with multiple players. This time, we're going to overwhelm Sen, who have been happy to fight for that space to find the opening pick. Love that decision from Wolves.
Bang is tentatively looking to retake this ropes position. And all of Sen are grouped up. 3 down mid. The Wolves are pretty diligently trying to clear their way into B, but this will take some time. This will buy some time for the flanking troop of Sentinels to wrap around. It's being watched for by YU though. Better weapon. No stingers are not going to hit hard enough at that range. Now the Nightfall over to the B site. Nobody here for Sen. They've all peeled off. There's more on the flank. YU checking for it with the camera. Sees it all. Paranoia comes in but only catches onto the Cypher. There's a real fight here in B main. And Wolves slap Sentinels down. Narrates just had to jump into the pit. No other choice for it. He gets rid of it though with Spring falling. That's the Viper out of the way. Now Narrate can heal back up, but Juicy's waiting for him. It's a 8-4 half here. Wolves introducing Sen to that Chinese Valorant in the most brutal way possible.
They are being outshot. The mechanics right now are just simply better for Wolves. Spring, dominant. Juicy's entry is incredible.
All right, we're going to do a break, folks. When we come back, more of splitting this game between Sen and Wolves after this.
Hello, hello, hello. को क्या हो गया?
Into this second half. Remember, it's really a measure of how much damage you're able to get out of each credit that you spend. And again, between 50 and 70 is really, really good. Sufat definitely getting bang for his buck with that quick two-piece to clutch the round out at 10 health.
Oh, yeah, the Sheriff, that was certainly a peak for him. And after that point, there just really weren't many situations at all where Wolves were having to go for big buys, having to eco. Their economy was stable throughout that entire half.
The number 3 seed from China, who honestly, in a world where EDG doesn't have a generational crash out in their sort of domestic playoffs, and not even here, are absolutely handling Sentinels here on Split. Holding them to only 4 defense side rounds, 2 timeouts already blown by SEN, frustration already bubbling to the surface for this North American squad.
Coming into this game, you're acknowledging the peaks and dips that Wolves had. The fact that they 2-0 Billy Billy to qualify, but then lose 0-3 to Billy Billy in the lower final. This team, when they're hitting though, like they are today, individually are so sick. I mean, Juicy, Sufat, Spring are putting on a show. The 1v1s, the raw duels are just going the way of Wolves right now. SEN need to wake up.
Lysol gets first contact here at B. This is going to draw Sufat over towards that side of the map through spawn, but Senna far from committed.
Waiting right now to just play off of this fault line. Dark cover is going to get thrown down B main by Lysar over there on B, who's stacked up with Sufat. Prowler Replayer is going to get some information onto Bang. Senna just slowly taking their time, posturing up. It's looking like an oncoming B split.
That smoke indicates potential ropes control, but SEN do not have the players on that A side of the map. Definitely going to see them pivot here. And they're trying to cut off Rafters with that smoke to maybe take Heaven control. He's a Paranoid that collects cleanly on a Spring. Juicy, though, playing from within the smoke, deals with Zelsis. And there's a way for Zekin to really get past that, but Sufat trying to hold on the site. He's dug out easily. Zekin has that Rafters control, and low as he is, Sentinels have been able to clear Wolves. Player advantage now, Spike to go down.
Let's see what Spring can do. Working his way into Heaven slowly, has to wait for this dark cover to fade.
Peers down ropes, doesn't see anything. YU decides this is the time to activate from the defender side spawn. Spring wins the duel. That's big. Can YU do it as well? They can! It's down on Rake. Has a flash to work with. Lets it go. It's a matter of playing time, something that SEN couldn't do in that first half when it needed to happen. And now it's ring around the rosy, folks, but now we're going to see them clash, and it's a right click for Narrates. Gives SEN the staging ground on this attack side they were sorely needing.
Desperately for SEN to get back into this game. Get things started right in this second half after not being able to get anything started in the first. And it looked like even here, they were about to once again succumb to the aim of these Wolves players. Spring isolated 1v1 taken against Bang. Gets the adjustment.
Juicy didn't realize there were 2 players in that Heaven smoke. Zekin slipped the net and was able to pick Sufat off on the site. Anti-eco now for Sentinels. Phantom for John.
And this is just full 5 classic save here for the Wolves team, so SEN shouldn't be succumbing to too much damage here, ideally.
Trying to get those orbs into Zekin's hands, though. Get those dimensional drifts rolling early.
Yeah, that is the name of the game when you're running Yoru. That has been one of, if not the most relevant meta ults this entire year. Round defining.
My camera is
Laborious, but the cam is cleared. Sentinels crossing to take that Heaven control, but as we speak, Wolves are coming up from ropes. Spraying through the smoke, Zekin, much to his chagrin, takes some damage and is seized in place. He's able to get at least far enough away from the snake bite, and even a paint shell is committed by Wolves. That's a lot of util drawn out.
Good little combo. He's close to getting one. Zelsis in the meantime. He has just been slow getting into this site, and he's calling for the rest of the team to pivot over now.
Is this an overpush?
Free? No. Almost, but superior weapon comes out on top.
Great mid-smoke here. Might be a flash out of it. Sufat's going to have to face them down, but Zekken's going to be there with a stinger. Juicy from the smoke. They emerge, and Zekken will dispatch them. Just YU now. It's outfoxing Zekken. But all things considered, pretty clean anti-eco for SEN gets to 6.
And it gets Zekken just one orb away from the dimensional drift, so they can play to that as a win con now on this bonus. Give Wolves a taste of their own medicine for how they were able to open the game, how they were able to get up in such a significant lead early. A bonus round win here should effectively tie things up, would be worth 2.
Nice pivot there from SEN. With that mid-control smoke to ropes and then face Wolves as they try and push out.
You see in that moment what we're going to be seeing a lot of on this attack side, which is just an infinite amount of flashes to pop out of these smokes as a team from SEN.
Bonus hit for SEN to see Zekken with a stinger in hand. John checks Heaven and is very lightly held. Wolves have a player in ropes, one just entering that part of the map. Sufat looks to re-clear.
Sufat's actually swinging out. Does have to back away, does have to give that space up. SEN are getting very active right now in Heaven. A lot of control. Wolves pivoting multiple players back. Side to anchor, Spring, crucial 1v1.
Interestingly, Wolves playing around this smoke, not looking to get entrenched in elbow, just want to play forward. Spring pops his head up and it's whack-a-mole for John. Okay, the double swing. The stinger gets some value though, and Narrate's able to hold it down from ramp. This just leaves Sufat in screens, and YU, with these rifles, this 4-buy for Wolves, have to untangle this round, but SEN are giving them nothing, Wyatt.
Unfortunately, this round is displaying what has been a major issue for Wolves defensively on this map. They'll get in positions to flood, but there will be too many isolated duels. Things will get a little disconnected. You had 2 players on site in that smoke, but they didn't pop out at the same time that Spring was swinging open in Heaven. He just goes down on his own in this moment to John. There are 2 players to his right, but there's no one to swing out to help. It's not coordinated on that timing, and this is going to get SEN an opportunity to tie the game. This is really my goal for Wolves coming into this map.
There's no initial anchoring presence on that site for Wolves either. They had to awkwardly filter in as Heaven's been taken. Spring passive hold in mid. Nice is awkward now. No one to swing off that line, and we are caught in the aftershock. Narrate guarantees that easy kill. 3 players with Sheriffs is all that Wolves have to their name.
This is going to feel great for SEN to have this level of momentum coming into the second half. Their economy is absolutely rolling. Unlikely that Wolves will be able to get any damage out. So, I don't know, maybe 1 kill if Sufat can get a nice little jiggle peek here, but this is going to put SEN ahead by a significant margin and apply so much pressure to each of these buy rounds that Wolves are going to have in subsequent rounds.
Well, death and taxes. Sufat's able to find his 1. But it doesn't really change the fact that SEN are crawling over this A site like a kicked anthill. And there are only 2 Sheriffs for Wolves to try and extract them. Sufat doubles back here. Prowler down ramp. There's no one there. SEN are just entrenched on this A site, ready to fight for it.
Just have the Wolves players ready to play for exits, see if they can't take one of these guns away.
I still got a rifle. Pick up Zelsis' fallen weapon, presumably.
One of the 20 flashes they have to take a peek. There's number 19.
Oh, I love that foul line. Just as SEN crossing, making sure no one can peer in. Lysor never had an opportunity to take a fight, but he will be allowed to walk away with this rifle. However, SEN City have evened up this game, folks, on a run after winning the pistol in this second half. And Wolves starting to whimper a little in that round.
And SEN have more than a real opportunity to extend this run to 5 rounds straight. Given the ultimates that they have when we get out of this timeout that's being called by Wolves. And a pivotal round in the game. This is 3 round coming up where SEN can outright win. They have a Rolling Thunder and a Dimensional Drift. Wolves have nothing to use in the ult department outside of a null theft, and obviously that is a one-sided map when we're talking about the ult economy.
Let's get this shit. The Bishop of Sensen. Yeah, more of Valorant.
Wolves are going to need to tighten up their floods right now. They're going to have to be able to absorb this Sentinel's utility when it's coming into the site, not drop players anchoring. There's too much initiator util. There are too many flashes to play around. The ults are going to be too much to play around. They're going to need to find a way to absorb all of that, not go down, and then tighten up those timings when they're going to try to flood back in after the fact.
Really volatile attack side from Wolves, but it was enough to catch Sen off guard on multiple occasions. On this side of the map, though, with Sentinels being able to dictate the pace, Wolves have looked a little bit disjointed, a little less comfortable. Now, though, they're going to buy coming back in. 4 rounds in a row given over to Sentinels, and an even game for us as we head into round number 17.
Sentinels have the spike over towards that.
These
sides certainly implying want to go for a split. This is what they did earlier. They have Zekin and Zelsis, that duo working mid. While the rest of the team take B main.
Who's next? Conventional drift. Zek's eating those orbs.
Zekin's going to get all of this info and then can get away to B main if he needs to. This is why you genuinely want to fight this. He needs to right now. He's going back in to fight Zekin. This is mental.
Won't throw it out. Waiyu is going to be in trouble. Just set up on all sides. No escape. Spring tries to help him out, bail him out. He gives himself up as well. This is the rifle round for Wolves. And they're at such a massive disadvantage already.
It's just disjointed. They're not operating as a full team in that moment. Waiyu makes too reckless of a decision trying to get back in there. He's going to get overwhelmed and does. At best, maybe goes 1 for 1. And then Spring feels like he needs to come in to help, but no one else is on the rotate over just yet. They were trying to pivot over mostly from that A side, not close to assist. Pretty devastating. At least for Wolves, with this save, they'll have an opportunity for redemption on this next round. Not a blowout. Not get to 10 with ease. But they are truly in the danger zone. They are still staring down the barrel of that Rolling Thunder from the raid, and now John has the Seekers. Just a streamline of ultimates from Sen to get advantage.
ओ भाई 4 की वॉचिंग आ रही है बस वॉच पार्टी देखते हो या गेम भी खेल लेते गेम तो नहीं खेल पाता कभी कभी एक दो गेम खेल लेता हूँ
He wants to double back. And now that animated looking Wolf squad really just buoyed forward by the momentum from some of their individual plays have gone quiet, have gone off the boil. What can they manufacture here? Still a buy for them in
बीच में खेल लेता हूँ थोड़े तो
Sen posted up right now for that ramp take. As you can see, Nere ready with the fault line. It's somewhere, but it's just spammed through.
Juicy here, the only player occupying heaven right now. That TP sound cue for him just makes him uncomfortable, forces him down. Spring will be there on the top of Bro.
Able to dodge it, and Lysor catches out Bang to even things up. Juicy is a wild player.
And that is just spray through the walls from both teams. Live by the sword, Bang, die by the sword as well.
Sen are going for the noise cut right now.
भाई बढ़िया है
Still just have it's this duo.
भाई मेरा लैपटॉप तो खत्म हो गया है
Working the map together on so many of these rounds, trying to contact up, take this space.
बस मेरे को पता है क्या हो गया उसको
Oh wait, the timing? He's turned! Second brings him up. Waiyu the sole player over the B side of the map, and this is going to get a bit hairy for him. Does he choose to try and
बहुत गंदा हो गया कट गया मेरा
Got a trap wire on the side. Cam also set up. He's going to play close.
डिस्प्ले क्रैक हो गया
But he's overrun by the double swing.
30 seconds left.
Juicy ascending with bleed, fighting through tier 2 to make it back onto this team when it wasn't a spot for him in
डिस्प्ले क्रैक हो गया उसका
He's going to go looking via Ramen.
Had to wait years to get this opportunity. Has a rifle right now. Can he be the hero?
नहीं ये वारंटी
Save for Wolves. They're starting to get a little bit desperate.
इससे डालना पड़ेगा
But already the time has just dropped so low for them.
They're giving it up.
Damage doesn't even matter. Look at the state of Sen's economy. Multiple players on 8K.
And honestly, this run of rounds,
1002
devastating. That is 6 rounds in a row for Sentinels. Now starting to put the timer on, Wolves threatening to close the game out. With the 2-gun save though, they can
बीच
definitely
में उस
swing
पे
it
खेल रहा था मैं
around to keep themselves well armed.
बैक कर लिया इन लोगों ने
They're still waiting in the wings for Sen to make use of. And yeah, you can see it now. They've shaken those jitters off.
These late anchor attempts just continue to get
लगा तो
overwhelmed in time.
पेट मतलब जाएंगे
Just a glimpse of them through that wall and bang is... I mean, that boy don't miss. Sheesh.
Catch on the spring is so unfortunate. Almost had the turn.
वाला कौन सा लैपटॉप था जो खराब हुआ था हाँ वो तो खराब ही है वो
Calling their second timeout now of the game. As things have completely gotten out of hand.
तो कभी कीबोर्ड नहीं काम कर
on this side.
चार्जर नहीं
Can definitely feel like we're starting to get to the most important round of the game here in round number 19. When we jump back in, Wolves will have been able to buy up. Close to a Nightfall, close to a Viper's Pit. Honestly, a lot of those big ultimates are just around the corner for them. But they
यार
want
उस
to
पे
be able
नहीं
to make
चलेगा
use of
वाईफाई
them when they're in a good position
i7 है
economically. And this round would be one of those opportunities.
पूरा हीट होता
Elsewhere, Narrator's just run away with the game on an individual level now. He's sitting on that breach ultimate. Those hard sight hits already. Wolves have struggled with the pace that Sen have come at them with on this attack side. That's going to make it even harder.
It was Nerit's clutch back on the pistol round that has gotten them
30
in this position. That's what kicked it off. Wolves yet to do anything highly proactive.
20-30
in
हो
these
गया
rounds. Not really taking the fight to Sen too aggro. It's a little too much anchoring attempt against this comp from Sen that is too overwhelming on the execs. It's like they got to play for something aggro early, take some space, find some picks, or tighten up those floods, play for that as a win con, especially if they're able to get this Nightfall somewhere for Sufat.
Full armor for Wolves. A very respectable buy, all things considered. Maybe a little neutral light, but that is fine.
They have actually opted to just give up this B site. They have a kill trip set up that
What is Spring?
is hoping to just get a spam kill from.
The Spring wants to fight even Rafters. What is that? Unhinged from Spring.
Oh, desperate from Spring to try and get something done.
He's on his own. We talked about this. Out of the open, trying to take a duel as a Viper. Here's that attack side, Viper's Pit. Lysol trying to get busy now. No Zekin is in the corner, but the shorty comes calling. With the pride of New Jersey, will have his pound of flesh. Juicy dropping down. Pit still active, of course. Juicy trying to disrupt.
One more kill and he'd actually get the showstopper.
And that will be perfect against this Viper's Pit. Can he find it safely? They're on a clock. 2 players left here for Wolves. Losing this round will banish them to the economic doldrums, and John waits patiently for his prey. Juicy serves it up. Sufat has to walk away now. Maybe an exit or so. There's no stopping the Sen economy. It is absolutely booming. Sufat will do what he can. On the rope, Celsius, an homage to his mate Arsena, I'm sure. That's Sen with 3 rounds in the lead, and we're out of our seats once more.
It looked like Wolves
खेलना ही छोड़ दिया
right approach there.
कल देखा
Just
ऐसे
playing off of a kill trip, they give up the site, allow the
पार्टी
stack
चालू
away.
कर
So if Sen do hit A,
तो वॉच पार्टी चालू कर
ready to go, and then when necessary, we'll move over, pivot into a flood, or just go for a full retake. Either one would have been highly recommended over that disjointed effort that came in. So unfortunate. This is it for Wolves. Full investment, 4 ultimates on the board.
And a slow start here for Sentinels. They do have Bang pushed up in the B.
यार भाग गया लगता है
Why are you very passive on this side of the map? So last round, Wolves
माइक ले यार
gave up that B side until Spring decided to ungive it up. We all know how that went.
हाँ वो
To B main, they're clearing it.
प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है
Poison orb now.
काम करता
Feeling there's quite a few players here. Is that snake bite quick enough?
अब
Bang
तो
gets ahead of much
बॉल
of
हो
this
जाए
until now. And there's the Nightfall. Gonna reveal his location.
ओ निकाल देता हूँ
Prowler fully spotting him out.
ठीक है
Spring's steadfast right now. Just has not been able to get started on this defensive side.
देता हूँ
Can he actually catch the timing right now?
इसको भी निकाल देता हूँ आप भी आ रहा होगा लेकिन बैकग्राउंड में भी होता हो जाता होगा तेरा आवाज आता अटक रहा है भाई मेरे को माइक गिफ्ट करो ना मार भाई ओ भाई 4v3 है भाई स्पाइक भी डाउन है वाइपर वाइपर गया ओ भाई वाइपर ने उठा लिया स्पाइक नहीं यार ये तो होने वाला था भाई ट्रेडिंग के प्रॉफिट से निकालो ओ माय गॉड अपने हमको एक एक लैपटॉप देना चाहिए हाँ मेरा चैनल मिलियन में खेल रहा है ना जिस दिन मिलियन में जाएंगे या 1 लाख हो जाएंगे उस दिन दे देंगे अभी कुछ नहीं भाई अपने 1 लाख तो भी हो गए ना तो भी बस्ट है अपने को फिर मजे ही मजे
TP away from it. It was a fault line that directly connected with Juicy, but his team's util bailed him out.
Again, I like this from Wolves out of that previous timeout. It was called by coach.
इधर सब्सक्राइबर नहीं बढ़ रहे और वो क्या करेंगे डेली कंटेंट चालू कर दो फिर वही तो नहीं हो रहा है ना हमसे ही ट्रेडिंग के प्रॉफिट से हेडफोन माइक नहीं लेने वाला अभी मैं सीधा माइक ही लेगा हेडफोन माइक नहीं है वो मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता देखा है मैंने एक रुको आपको दिखाता हूँ
Mostly undetected. See, Wolves now starting to forge ahead for a bit of information. That re-clear of B, his main was too early.
That was some false info.
रुको आपको दिखाता हूँ मैं दिखाता हूँ अबे किधर जा रहा है रे भाई तू किधर गया किधर गया किधर गया किधर गया हाँ रुको रुको ये ब्रेक होने के बाद दिखाता हूँ आपको हाँ करने से सब होता है मालूम है भाई रुको रुको भाई रुको दिखाता हूँ सेंटिनल जीतना चाहिए यार बस नाइस वन यार भाई जो भी देख रहा है प्लीज सब्सक्राइब करो यार
SEN run. Now this is getting interesting. One round in the game, both teams full buys.
And the Sentinels' economy is actually being depleted at this point. At one point, having 3 players with 8+ K.
Spring here sees the clone come in. Paranoid hit. The Bank's gonna try and walk away. He gets TP out.
God.
ये क्या हो गया भाई
The reaction from Bang was so fast there.
भाई वो भी नहीं पीछे हट रहे यार वो भी आगे आके मार रहे इनको अरे ये क्या था भाई भाई क्या हो रहा है सेंटिनल सेंटिनल क्या कर रहे हैं यार 2v2 साइफर फेड वाइपर ओ भाई स्काई और ओ भाई बैक साइड से आ रहा है भाई बैक साइड से आ रहा है nice one 2 more game only nice one ये बोलते हैं भाई सेलिब्रेशन रुको आपको
John and Zelsis just watching each other's backs, trying to bait out that swing. Love the way they play that. It was looking so good for Wolves when they had that double face coming from screens. Juicy comes out of heaven. But it's that
ये वाला यूज करना चाहता हूँ मैं.
kill to make it a 2 versus 2 that puts them in a winnable position. IGL, they're stepping up for SEN when necessary.
वो भी बताओ भाई आपको प्राइस. Wait a minute.
Match point opportunity to steal away Wolves' pick.
And a dimensional drift to start the round for second, but Spring's already found something. Zels is straight down mid.
I think that was just spam down mid.
This finally gets in the back of the site. There's no trip here to stop second though, so SEN have this big control. Krala throwing out once again, back to away. And it's narrow with the spike in hand. They've got to be concerned about
12,000 कुछ आ रहा है. 12,000 प्राइस.
Seekers are going to confirm this largely.
John wants to go for the reflank. Mid is actually tripped right now. That one-way trip is still, or one-way unbreakable rather, is still up there, so he's going to have to
भाई
deal with it.
सेंटिनल जीतना चाहिए. ओए
Second able to trade it out.
ये क्या था भाई.
Safer position, Bang is still on the side. Second runs into
Nice one.
John is coming on the flank, but second is
Viper.
coming off. Just John
ओ
now. They
भाई
know he should be here. He had to break the trip. The timing
भाई
John's
क्या
gonna
हो रहा है.
get
डीप हो रहा है. नाइस वन.
through the smoke. Sufat on the other side of the dark cover.
ये पीछे हो भाई. पीछे हो. हाफ डीप हुआ है.
got it to half. There's no way. There's just no way he can stick it.
क्या भाई. और कब तक लेने का प्लान है. नेक्स्ट मंथ तक लेने का प्लान चल रहा है.
Then knows that John can only give him a tickle.
अरे बीच में हेडफोन रखा था यार.
Just throws a flash in and that's all he can
बीच
muster.
में हेडफोन रखा था कीबोर्ड के और
IGL team leader and clutch
स्क्रीन के बीच
merchant
में
for
और
Wolves.
उसको डाउन कर दिया.
Both halves winning critical rounds. Juicy just goes one
कल
for
तक आ जाएगा ना.
one.
हाँ
For the
तू
rest
पे
of the
कर
team
मेरे को.
to get back in.
अब भी लेके आता है फिर.
John just couldn't actually accelerate to help these guys. Second almost came up with that multi-kill.
भाई बहुत क्लोज जा रहा है मैच.
Fingers to their name.
And now that we've just gotten into this retake,
अरे यार बहुत बड़ी गलती कर दी. उसमें मेरा माइक आ जाता था मालूम है.
multiple stingers for
एक
SEN.
भी नहीं कुछ भी नहीं.
Guardians for Wolves. Neither team are comfortable economically.
Wolves are a couple orbs away here from critical ultimates. Nightfall, Showstopper, only requiring one each.
Do they dare push up for that? There's no way. Why are you anchored on the site? We'll have Juicy on rafters early. This might be signaling an A split through rope here by Sentinels. Trip cleared. Clone gonna eat it up now. How do you
भाई
respond to the defense?
एक राउंड और चाहिए बस.
Wolves are posturing towards B heaven. That's actually going to be a teleport to get info in A main and a cancel. But John,
It's false info.
a bit far back, as is Zelsis. This hasn't called for any adjustment in the Wolves' positioning. Here comes this
ओमन को स्पाइक लेके जाना चाहिए था यार.
pivoting into B. I swear.
He's selling it.
I swear we're going B.
The right even gives up a bit of his health in order to sell it, and he does keep Juicy interested at B for now. Heaven control for Sentinels.
Okay, crash deep from second. Fake teleport.
Bang caught in the seas, but Wolf heal back up after.
बहुत बढ़िया क्वेश्चन था.
Sufat here.
करना तो है लेकिन टाइम नहीं मिल रहा
He
है.
also flubs the shot. Sen
लेकिन देख रहा हूँ
with his A sights.
अभी रेगुलर करने का.
One that was gonna happen soon.
ट्राई तो कर रहा हूँ.
Second into the fault line.
Juicy has the showstopper. Oh, but he goes down.
ओ भाई सेंटिनल विन ने
Wide you down in Sen after a paltry.
जीत गई भाई. जीत गई. देखो भाई. हाँ बोलो भाई. बोलो बोलो मैं सुन रहा हूँ.
Unreal run to open this game on attack, going up 8-4.
एक और गेम जीतना है बस.
Hitting hard, but what a comeback for SEN.
And that's just the first map of this series.
हाँ
So
वो
we
तो
still have
सही है.
the
सही
rise
है.
and plenty of opportunities for Wolves to break back in. Do not go anywhere.
लेकिन बहुत टाइम देना पड़ता है यार इसको. 3 घंटा तो किधर भी नहीं जा रहा है. भाई इसको क्या हुआ. इसको क्या हुआ. बात तो सही है बीस भाई की. बात तो कुछ रॉन्ग नहीं बोली. हाँ तो 24 घंटे में 4 घंटा दे दो. 4 आवर्स में से देखते हैं. अभी चलो यही टाइम फिक्स करते हैं. फिर तू आएगा क्या खेलने. 8 घंटे से वो भाई दूसरा भी काम होता है ना भाई. उसमें से गए 12 आवर्स तो निकल गए. फिर कितना. 1-2 घंटे खेल सकते, हाँ ठीक है फिर ये सेम टाइम पे खेल लेंगे क्या? ये सेम टाइम पे खेल लेंगे तो बढ़िया है फिर। बे इधर आ। मजाक से हट के जब से शुरू करा था आपने, बस जो 3-4 घंटे कर थी स्ट्रीम और हाईलाइट अभी तक 500 हो जाए आराम से यार, आराम से। हाईलाइट डालना था, हाँ वो तो बहुत अच्छा था, लेकिन क्या करें अभी देखते हैं। चलो कोई तो टीममेट चाहिए यार खेलने के लिए, तो मज़ा आता है। अकेले में क्या मज़ा नहीं आता है, कितना बंदा पुश करेगा अकेला। मैं इस टाइम पे नहीं आ सकता, हाँ पता है भाई आपका 12th है, अलाउ नहीं करती मैं, हाँ भाई 12th तो इम्पोर्टेंट है। 12th में तो सबके वाट लग जाते हैं यार। किसी किसी किसको किसको फितूर चढ़ता है। आ गया क्या आपका आवाज़ आ गया? मैं तो बीच बोल रहा था, आवाज़ कैसे नहीं आया? होता हो जाता होगा ना। अरे मैं नहीं सुन रहा भाई, भाई मैं नहीं सुन रहा हूँ, मैं तो गेम का साउंड सुन रहा हूँ। मैं मैसेज करता आपको हेलो के लिए, बट साला जब मेरी छुट्टियां शुरू हुई थी तभी मेरा रिचार्ज खत्म हुआ था। मस्त भाई मस्त। ये क्या हो गया है माइक को? रुको इसको फिर से करना पड़ेगा यार। अभी नहीं आएगा आपको आवाज? क्या जानू क्या बात कर रहे हैं, ऐसा ऐसा भी क्या हो गया भाई? वैलो खेलते ही नहीं हो क्या फिर? नहीं गाना नहीं रोक दिया यार, थोड़ा बहुत सेटिंग कर लिया। गाना रुका भी नहीं सकता मैं, मेरे हाथ में नहीं है वो रुकाने का। एक दिन खेला था बैन फोर्ट सिंग हाई प्लस मेरे को कितनी बार बैन लगा है वैसे, ये मैंने बंद कर दिया। ये कॉम्पी 2-3 बार लगा और बीच में किधर निकल गया तो बहुत गंदा बैन लगा था मेरे को। 7 डेज का बैन लगा था मेरे को। नहीं, तुम मैसेज करते तो खेल लेते एक आध बीच में। अभी कंटिन्यू करना पड़ेगा यार। अभी ये फ़ोन पे भी आ रहा है ना, हेलो। अभी तो क्या 12th है ना, तो 12 के इस पे नहीं खेल पाए। जब खेल पाता हूँ तब टाइम नहीं होता स्कूल। अभी क्या, अभी पढ़ाई तो इम्पोर्टेंट है भाई, पढ़ाई तो करनी पड़ेगी। फिर रिकॉर्ड करके डाल दो ना आईटी पे, शॉर्ट्स या कुछ वीडियोस। ओके ओके, ठीक है ठीक। ओ भाई, नया लैपटॉप कब लेने वाले हो फिर? कुछ तो और देखना पड़ेगा। एक मिनट। कुछ तो देखना पड़ेगा भाई, कुछ। हो गए ना बस। साला मेरे में ही पीछे चल रहा है रे। रुक। कोई कोई देख रहा हो, कुछ तो देख रहा हो, अच्छा मिला देखने। बे इसका क्यों आवाज आ रहा है, निकल। आजा भाई। कितने लोग वॉच पार्टी कर। फेल हुआ था फिर एग्जाम के बाद फिर पता चलेगा। क्या फेल भी तो वही। पर फेल हो गया ना बंदा, फिर खत्म है। फिर से आवाज अटक रहा है, अभी नहीं अटक रहा है रे भाई। अभी ठीक है ना भाई, अभी किधर अटक रहा है आवाज? भाई मेरे को गिफ्ट कर दो ना, माइक गिफ्ट कर दो मेरे को एक। हाँ वो सेटिंग करके रखी है ना, नहीं सेटिंग बंद कर दी फिर तो बैकग्राउंड का आवाज आता है। इधर भेजू उसका आपका कांटेक्ट नंबर। क्या जितने का माइक है उतने में कैपेबल फ़ोन ले लूँगा जिसमें वैलो मोबाइल चल जाएगी एटलीस्ट। नहीं भाई उतने में नहीं आएगा, नहीं आएगा भाई उतने में नहीं आएगा, मेरे को पता है फ़ोन। और आएगा तो भी उसमें वैलो नहीं चलेगी।
From Zelsis, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Zelsis could
Piper,
make a great fade here, or not fade, excuse me, a great fight here. His anchoring has looked phenomenal as well, so nothing too crazy for me. I'm expecting greatness from him on the Vice.
Yeah, honestly, Vice with a double smoke to back it up
Same
is
team.
really hard to break through on a defensive side. It can isolate your Raze player and you're trying to dive
It
inside.
is.
There's no Yoru clone or anything like that to break away the wall
वो
easily.
तो
So
मेरे
this
इसका
makes things a little bit more
है।
challenging for Wolves to deal with in the mid rounds of finding and dealing with the Vice util.
I think a big part here, what I'm looking at Sentinels, is if they're going to play against another contacty comp, I need to see them win these fights early.
We've seen this comp many times in the past. I can't wait to see what Wolves are going to bring because Uber and Wyatt, if they win this, they'll bring it to a map 3.
Frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way, Hinsu. A full-round defensive part from SEN
open हो गया रे।
split sees them explode into winning the map. It was, for no good reason, a legendary clash between Sentinels and Wolves. And now heading over to Lotus, it looks like Wyatt Tejo's departure is back to some of the more traditional comps we've seen here.
भाई वो सेटिंग रखेंगे तो
The only difference
ने
being
बढ़ेंगे।
that Sentinels are bringing in the Vice, which has been so popular on this map, and specifically when you're looking at
फिर वही रखूँ,
Celsius
song सुनना
on this
पड़ेगा।
agent, very refined, excellent, anchoring over towards that C site. Has some pretty standard setups over
Lotus है भाई, Lotus।
play off of very well. You can already see he has his patented arc rows over there in tree. Some little things that Wolves are definitely going to be or should be prepared for when they've been reviewing the Sen VODs. But yeah, the biggest departure for me is the fact that Second's Yoru was lethal on this map.
भाई कौन जीतेगा सेन से या
MIBR in Americas in that upper final, but just pivoted back.
WL
I mean, a vintage
esports. We are not interested in this watch party. शीट हम बस बातचीत कर रहे। हाँ भाई वही तो बातचीत कर रहे। वॉच पार्टी से हम लगा के रखिए। चिट चाट स्ट्रीम में ओनली।
Early encounter at C as well. Wolves testing every avenue.
They are so spread out at the moment, but Lysor is just solo walked into B.
कल नहीं करूँगा, कल वॉच पार्टी नहीं करूँगा फिर मैं, फिर दूसरा ही कुछ करता हूँ कल।
He's alone. Lysor is still alone right now.
All the timing.
Not able to get away from that. C is going to be thrown in. Lysor at 2. Finds at least one. Narrate, a tap on the spike here. Door opening up. Prowler to herald the arrival of Wolves as they try and stop this retake. But Sen, hard hitting. They spring out of the open and out of luck.
That's Wolves down a player early on account of Bang, but then just being very disconnected as Lysor knows he can get a free plant, but no one's really in position to take any further position.
अच्छा हम बकचोदी कर लेते मैच में, फिर मैच लगाओ क्या? रुको रुको एक मैच होने दे फिर मैच लगाता हूँ। या कल से खेलूँ, कल से खेलेंगे ना, कल से चल जाएगा ना फिर।
Spawn after getting the spike down on B and C especially. They're just not able to do that because all of the wolves are spread across the map.
ये मैच जीतना चाहिए इन लोगों को।
And at a disadvantage, they're just never going to win that.
अरे यार अब रुको ना, एक मैच होने दे इनका, फिर खेल लेते।
Maybe looking for a more of a close quarters context.
And he's going to make it close quarters with a double satchel.
Yep, here we go. Juicy coming on in. Narrate has to hear this. Oh, Juicy!
भाई हमारे मुंबई में आ जाओ फिर।
He tries to cross that B site. Already big mound control. Bang pushing up. has to be aware that B main is where Wolves are currently.
हमारे इधर आ जाओ फिर आपको वाईफाई का सब कुछ मिल जाएगा.
Wolves there displaying for us why the Vice is just so effective on this map. They're going to need
फ्री में दिला दूंगा सबको.
Juicy doesn't end up in situations like that. We know he's going to be double satcheling in deep, but if the rest of the team are cut off by the shear, he's going to get cooked every single time like we just saw.
Eyes towards Baby Door now for Wolves. Narrate.
Back step. Nice one.
It's a 1-for-1. Spike recovered, of course. Sufat now needs to make a decision.
3v4 हो रहा है भाई. गया वाइपर. खत्म. ये भी खत्म भाई. नहीं भाई इसको स्प्रे नहीं देना था. B2.
Unfortunately for Wolves, the players are just so separated from each other on individual missions, and this, what looked like attempt to be the stinger rush onto the
कुछ नहीं कर सकता भाई. ओवर नीचे बैठा है.
From there, things have slowly collapsed.
Nice one.
While you left alone, surely going to be going down to second here, closing out the
ट्रैप को नहीं तोड़ा भाई उसने उसके.
against the buy. So
हाँ.
opportunity to get to 3
एजे को
now
खत्म
against
कर दिया
Wolves
उसने.
early. Get a nice little lead on their own map pick. I like what Kaplan said. It was interesting to hear from him just on that map, the difference in play from the regions. We're not swimming against teams like this. It was hard to get our own game plan online because we're just not used to what Wolves are doing.
Because Wolves made that force in round number 2, they've really got so little to work with. And this for SEN is an opportunity to build a massive economy on his defense side.
प्रो लोग है करते होंगे कुछ. हाँ भाई वही तो है ना.
Space on rubble with the rest of the team. Wolves are triple faced on B, hoping that someone from Sentinels will decide to go for a P.
फिर डेली खेलेंगे तो
right now.
तुम भी प्रो बन सकते. They play on
hoping to collect some orbs.
touch screen. Cheating no.
Lotus, when these comps were pretty
चीटिंग करेंगे तो बैन हो जाएंगे फिर.
the game was really
कभी ये स्टेज पे नहीं आ पाएंगे वो.
getting those showstoppers was of the utmost importance.
Wolves get the sheer wall.
Oh.
Seconds before they can circle back.
DJ.
That seemed to be the plan though. Or slowly extract themselves. Fighting for rubble might be a dangerous proposition for them, but Narrate is the one with the ghost. Perhaps an easier target to knock down. Confirms that there's at least one player still here. Bang's gonna have to play off of this
उनको वहाँ पे ही खेलना पड़ेगा.
Just ready to send out the paranoia off contact. What? No way. There's just no way. That shouldn't be
क्या हो गया
happening.
ये?
That shouldn't be happening.
डर कर रहा था
Gonna
लगता.
be on second. A little bit awkward. Outlaw with a ton of targets to find, and Juicy trying to get across with a blast pack.
Oh,
That's
nice
gonna
one.
Fall off the line now. Paint shells to follow up. Peaks with the classic. He's bought enough
Plant
space,
हो
though,
गया
to
भाई.
get reinforcements in place, and so
2v3 2v3.
Sufa is so far away right now. He's in B, having to go through Baby Door. Spring is going to
हाँ
need
हाँ
to do even
देख
more
रहा हूँ
work
देख
with
रहा हूँ
his
wait.
Sheriff. And it feels wrong that the ask is on him to do more in this round.
Sufat is here. Sentinels now going to make this push up. Likely a double swing. John in second here on this line. Celsius with his back to Spring's position.
Oh, one tap बोलते.
Now two left. Second finally
Nice
shuts
one.
down the rampaging Spring. But up Spring comes Summer, and Sufat's about to make it hot and heavy. Backs away, no time. Plays it like an absolute
क्या
champion.
राउंड निकाला इन्होंने.
Round. You have any business winning?
That feels impossible and should be impossible. How is that double setup from SEN towards Rubble dismantled? There's no util for Wolves to get out aside from using the wall to get forward. What a shot! And the crosshair placement from Bang, who throws down the dark cover, throws out the paranoia. There's just no way.
One enemy remaining.
And then after that, Spring, could you actually do some more for us? Could you get another kill?
Sufat plays behind. Come on. Expertly in that moment.
अकेले.
The second's got no choice but to run at him.
Wow, look at this. Read on the economy from Spring. Outlaw, 5 one-shottable targets. Everyone from SEN on lighter regen.
SEN know they've given that weapon over though. And they know they need to play around it. 0 peaks off the seaside here.
Wolves do a nice
Why
job
did-
getting all of the space towards Mound and drawing a bit of attention from Sentinels, even
क्या cheating?
procking the door.
देंगे तो उधर ही बैठेंगे फिर घर पे.
Spam in case they are actually trying to get into B main at the moment.
Down to the minute mark in the round. Still nothing drawn out by Sentinels. Nothing really for Spring to look at with this Outlaw.
And this is Sufa just on a solo effort to keep the attention here. He's doing everything. He's throwing prowlers. He's opening the door. He's getting the orb. And there are 3
ये
players.
पे आ गए all.
That area of the map. It's going to be an A re-clear again. Can bang right the wrongs from that prior round.
Narrate never had to show himself there either. It was awkward, but Narrate last time they were here had only a ghost. This time they're after the teeth. YU is able to draw that
248 का डिस्प्ले लगाने के लिए भी अभी कितना 5090 का ग्राफिक कार्ड लगाना पड़ेगा तभी वो सपोर्ट करता है.
Oh, they aren't. They're still too indecisive. They're going back towards Mound now. They're in a 2-1-1 with 15 seconds left. The round is just over.
They've got no duelists. They've got no entry on this site.
They can't even get past the thorns that are there. Now they're trying to get into B. This is mad.
Okay, 7 seconds left, and they're going to go for it. Snake bite on the ground. Lysor knows he's going to lose much of his health. 10 seconds. Showstopper brings the house down on Wolves. What a bizarre round. And Wolves bleed the clock a little too much.
The indecision is their enemy there. You have Sufa making that tons of noise over towards C in the mid-round. But Wolves, after losing Juicy towards A, they just did not want to commit through the dark cover. It's actually going to be an early timeout called right now by Coach Fade, and I am not mad at that. We, in fact, saw at the end of Split, it was his second timeout that got Wolves back in the game. That is when they started to put together some defensive rounds. He gave them the right adjustments to make.
We just take stock of things here, because that's a round that Wolves, they win a ridiculous round in round number 3. They come out with an Outlaw. Sentinels are all half-armored, all regen shields. Right? They do not have the ability to tank one of those Outlaw hits. And they just give Wolves nothing.
You just see, yeah, because then after Juicy goes down, they're like, we can't really get out of this boat, can we?
There's 2 Razorvines on C. They have no raise, so they're never going to get on that side. Ugly stuff.
All right, what's the plan for Wolves out of this timeout? They're nearing many ultimates. Sen expending some to win one of those prior rounds. So when we get to Wolves' full buy, that can certainly be the linchpin of a win there. Here, they're hoping it's just going to be one of these 2 hero rifles.
अयो तो हैंग हो रहा है.
Don playing a bit further forward this time
मैं
around.
अभी BGM में.
Wolves are obviously less cashed up this time around. See a lot of heads though, and Juicy, man, he is clean with it. His Sheriff claims the first. Zelsis is seized here, decayed down. There's a window here. Pops the Razorvine. They can't quite get purchased on him.
Nice one.
Overextends. Spike loose. Lysor, those
अरे यार नहीं.
Zekin's going to be here. Spray down's a bit wayward, and Lysor's gotten in onto the C
Down
side
है
now.
भाई.
Zekin's
3v3.
do not get any value.
Slowly trying to get towards Bend right now. Not comfortable getting the spike down just yet. Narrate has a fair amount of initiator utility to use to get back in. Bang is on a long flank right now. Will Wolves expect it?
YU checks for him, but can't beat Bang. Paranoia comes in, Lysor and Spring forced to just double up at the bottom of the seaside. Bang must have spotted them there with a shoulder peek. Perhaps not, as still eyes are looking towards the bend. Spring just sees a head pop up, that's stunning stuff. Eventually they'll take it down as Lysor with less than 50 health to play. Time is of the essence.
Nice one, nice.
Fully cognizant. They'll have themselves their 4th round.
Able to win the duel on the flank. That is the highest impact kill in that situation he could possibly find. Then you have the other 2 players being encircled from multiple different angles.
Look at a brute force solution to trying to get Zelsis out of that corner.
I mean, I'm not mad at them fighting it. It's just that they didn't really fight it together. If they both kind of got out and were spraying, they might have just gotten that kill in clean fashion. But they weren't doubled up.
Oh, भाई.
Getting that one was pivotal as well.
Zekin is 8-1. Night and day comparison to his start of his split game. Running it back on the raise after all this time.
We really have not been getting much of the Zekin raise, if at all, this year, but that is his, or was his go-to agent. That's what he was known for, the flex raise play. Here comes Juicy fast into the side. That's a dart. The armor shut down.
Straight into the Razor Vine as well.
Oh, मैंने TP
Now
मारा.
wants to assume some more control, but he's likely hurt this TP forward by Lysor. He gives up the side. Play for the retake.
In the meantime, Wyu did actually find a kill with one of the players from SEN on the cross towards B. Bang teleporting over to assist. This lockdown is going to keep the Sentinels team at bay. Should give Wolves a free plan here.
Yeah, look at, I mean, how much of
KJ cult, KJ cult.
gap in that. Oh, John, that is stunning. Yes,
Bye.
no chance for Wolves to follow up on this. Spam down through the smoke, finds to be another one. Here's the Nightfall down from the attack side. Wolves want to try and assume as much control of C as they can. They've even committed a Viper's Pit to that effect.
Yeah, this round is must win. They have to send it all. Wyu spam kill.
Spring in the pit, dancing around. Narrate finds him before he decays too low. That's a Viper's Pit now gone. Wyu and Sufat in this corner. Zelsus and Narrate do not have the util to clear them from this. Gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Spray down through the corner. Zelsus exposed himself to Sufat on the tight angle, and Narrate does not have the health to bail Sentinels out. A hard forward, long sought after second round here for Wolves.
They committed all they needed to, must win round, excuse me, and they are able to take that down. Spring just somehow connects a miracle shot on the second player that was swinging through the pit in that final situation. But a good usage of their ultimates, no doubt. Wyu was crucial on that round too, early. Pretty standard for, you know, your Sentinel position. They're going to be taking a timing on B, waiting in main to hear those footsteps on the cross for someone trying to get over to Waterfall towards C. Little jiggle peek and he wins the duel there. That's just always on your mind when you're a defender and you need to get over to that site.
All right, we have a mild audio issue down here on the stage. So that one will be rectified pretty quickly as headsets are already being replaced. We get Wolves, they spend pretty big in that round, right? Get those ultimates in play, they make use of them correctly. It's a lockdown that John disrespects. He's playing in halls, he just spams down through that smoke, he's able to find one. But Sentinels are not aware that Sufat's tucked there on bend, right on that spike location. And they just didn't have the utility to dig any of those Wolves players out of position. So very textbook, hit on towards the C side with that raise, double satchel initiator. Now though, without some of those key abilities, can Juicy make use of this showstopper to once again clear that space, maybe force them back into halls on that C side?
Look, I'm certainly looking to Wolves to maybe go for one of the crazy executes here where your Omen uses from the shadows to get behind the defensive team and then you send it at them with a showstopper. Pinch them from both angles. That is a pretty common ult execute on this map.
And Lysor is not above a cheeky little TP to the enemy spawn. So turret here for Wyu to play contact off of a B. Wolves have been waiting for a push out of B main from SEN, but it's never happened. Not so far on this defense side. They've just been leaving Zek in here, of course, with those paint shells to hold it down.
The only real proactivity coming from SEN is just the double up from Narrate and Bang to take rubble control. And to be fair, it has kept Spring at bay. He hasn't had opportunities to be able to lurk up off of his wall, which feels very un-Spring-like. I mean, on split, he was taking the fight to them all the time. Here's that showstopper.
He's waiting on those.
But he can't do anything.
On the snake bite, couldn't actually cross. Sheer wall did come up. And that's a speculative showstopper that ends up finding nothing. All the util cleared from the C side, though. It looks like Wolves want to double back, Wyatt.
Yeah, they certainly can re-execute off this.
30 seconds
Sufat does have a haunt to throw, clear out an area like Bend, teleport through to make the cross. They want to scale into the site, which is vacant of SEN players, but they are ready to flood back in off the Steel Garden.
Juicy Vizak and Duelists here fighting for that Hall's control. Second ops to wait just a little bit longer here. That Steel Garden off the back of it, John explodes. Zelsus now playing from Waterfall. Lysor left here on the C side, the last remaining Wolves player. And Zelsus might not be aware. He TP'd out with that ultimate. So now Wolves in a position to play that retake, but Zekin's already got it to half, and Wolves might not be aware of this. Narrate's able to spray them down through the poison orb. Zekin got off of it briefly, but he'll full stick this, and Wolves are none the wiser.
That's just disaster for Wolves. They have to all retreat into Mound after the Steel Garden is used, and the spike just isn't planted for them. The round is just over at that point. Easy, effortless retake for Sentinels.
ये माइक बंद क्या? अरे नहीं माइक बिग बंद बाबा, कुछ नहीं बंद है.
I mean, what can they do after this situation? Legitimately nothing. It's just over. It is just over.
ओ भाई जीत रहे भाई, हम जीत रहे.
Looked odd, but I think Wolves probably realised there was no reasonable way to get back in, so wagering those remaining rifles seemed less than ideal. Now a bit of a rubble fight. This time SEN actually aren't playing forward. They've got bang back in tree.
4 rifles right now for Wolves. Spring just on the pistol though, unfortunately.
Watch the timing of this paranoia, Wyatt. Sees combo with the paint shells, perhaps. Oh, it's second getting caught out. Narray doesn't have much to see here, and Bang's gonna watch his left side. No! Oh my goodness!
भाई 1v4 क्या कर रही है भाई?
Attempt at the refight, just not expecting. I don't think so many Wolves
AP
players to
planting.
actually be ready with the crosshairs on those angles. This has been the most convincing round win for Wolves so far, unless
भाई वो प्लान करने दे.
go crazy in that 1v4, but he can't. Is shut down.
चले गए लगता है सब लोग.
And that was a half buy. Wolves, I think, had 2 pistols, maybe even classics in that kind of round. And it was one of the rounds where SEN opted not to play forward on Rubble. They didn't have Bang TPing forward at the start of the round and having Narrate watch that live. They opted instead to try and play off a paranoia, and everything kind of went wrong for them in second. Found himself isolated.
Yeah, isolated on that orb, and the rest of the players just tried to spill through the fight together, but Sufa hits a nice little
सब है
snap
okay
adjustment.
भाई.
Players from Wolves posted up to deal with. And look at this. Somehow, SEN, their economy is not very good, which feels bizarre, but this is an opportunity for Wolves to get right back in the game, potentially tie things up, break their eco right here.
Bang can't clear the horn with where he is, so he actually at least consider giving up that Rubble position. We're going to B variation though this time from Wolves. But some of this spice utility.
भाई बी पे कोई नहीं है भाई.
Nightmare for them. Second 2 rounds in a row has been
बी पे कोई नहीं है
by
भाई.
Juicy.
बी प्लांटिंग करेंगे वो लोग.
We're going to go back towards C here. Zekin's departed. Obviously very early.
Plant B.
Juicelo's been cleaned up. Spring wants to try and get forward here, but this nightfall could be a bit of an issue for Wolves. Spike is obviously down. Spring trying to
Nice
pop up
one,
and
nice.
cleared out instantly. Sufan now
Four.
gives his position away. Enough noise to wake the dead.
काम कर रहे भाई फेड.
Look to try and spray him out of the game, and this is awkward timing for the fade.
प्लीज भाई चले गए लगता. हाँ वो बोल के गए मेरे को. अभी भी जा सकते हो.
Great opener, essentially a free plant. They have the idea, which is the right idea, of when you're getting the spike down on this map, you have to go take more forward space on B, but they just don't do it together. Juicy is too quick to face here. Zelsis gets an isolated 1v1, there's no trade coming through. Spring is trying to get forward, but he's alone, caught before the dark cover drops. Right idea, wrong execution from Wolves, and some frustration on the face of Fade as things are getting a bit
परेशान
out of
लग रही.
control on
बहुत
Sentinel's map pick, especially from
बहुत ही
the
ज़्यादा
inside.
परेशान है.
And when you're talking about this
अभी वाईफाई
traditional
प्रॉब्लम
houses,
है.
map was attack favored.
तुम वहाँ पे बैठो भाई.
You're in the pool, and this was the meta.
And that's why SEN getting to 6 is
भाई तुम वहाँ पे जाके बैठो. उधर ही
Orb
अच्छे
taken by
लग रहे
Sufan
हो.
now gets his Nightfall online. Once again, Zekin wants to take an early challenge, but looks like that's been denied. Classic entry over here. Zelsis is 39. Does he think to try and pick a
One
and done in the corner now at this level of health?
Face your fear.
Okay, Boom Bomb going to be thrown in. Dark cover now. Overall to Paranoia, excuse me. Forces John back
Nice
in the
one.
Wolves direction. Juicy deals with Zelsis all
भाई
too
मेरे
easily.
को
There's a nice little tap from John. Happy to challenge this side take util for a kill.
Yeah, now just fully on the retreat. Posted up to try and ensure the Wolves don't push any further. Lysaur, danger for a moment, and it's just getting spammed.
नाइस वन यार. बैंग ने बहुत ही बढ़िया
As
मार.
Wolves try to wrap around Ben to get that spike down.
Spring's able to recover the spike, but what opportunity. They're going to have to plant it. He tries to surge ahead. Draws second out of position. Might be a high
2v4, 2v4.
He's not going to give them a free kill here.
भाई
Wolves
फेड
are
तो
the ones that have
भाई
to wager something. And Spring and his
खत्म कर रहे यार.
Oh, it's disrespectful from Zekin. It's a little bit whimsical too with the double satchel in. Gets himself one
Good
away.
Achilles.
Showstopper with those kills too, matter of fact.
स्पैम कर. किलर स्पैम कर रहा है. क्या कर रही हो?
From Lysaur with the Vandal that is spotted out.
And at this point, Zekin just doesn't give them a freebie.
वो रेज ने बढ़िया किया.
Breaks that crosshair placement. Spring overwhelmed. That is 7 defense side rounds for Sentinels. There's no way of framing this other than they're at a massive, massive advantage on this map.
As I can go in and pick up that outlaw for another round in this map on an anti-eco.
Look at Spring.
A पे आ रहे वो लोग.
Talk that Odin damage off the rip, and Zekin's able to find an outlaw pick with finally decided to push up on B, by the way.
Oh, that's gotten him his showstopper.
Round पे आ गए.
Just in case Sen wanted another advantage to close out this half.
Oh, man. Spring's at 6, by the way. Far too much spam for Wolves to deal with. Sen holding all the cards. A double swing here. They'll try.
Nice one.
Almost had the correction. Spring at 6 wants a rifle. He'll have it stripped from his hands momentarily. It's an interesting statement.
Oh भाई. 3 किधर जा रहे हैं लोग?
8 rounds for Sentinels, last of the half. Showstopper earned by Zekin. It's looking grim for Wolves fans.
Gotta say, the just existence of the Vice utility on this map has really thrown a wrench in the game plans from Wolves. And it's, I think, highlighted some of the issues that they've had as a team, where it's disconnected them on executes to too great of an extent on multiple site attempts.
Are they shooting back?
All right, Wolves, last chance to get a desperately needed round win on what is typically a favorite side on this map.
And this is that more passive A-side variation for Sentinels on defense. Nobody heading up to rubble.
And Zekin has actually picked up the operator towards C.
जा
I'm
रहे
going
भाई.
to assume there's probably a rifle on the ground for him as well to pick up, and he has the showstopper to play with. So he's got 3, actually 4 weapons if he needs to use all of them.
He's Gilgamesh. And that's why he's down at 1,600. Of course you spend up here. And with that Vice util that you referenced earlier is definitely going to be an issue at C. Popped here early. So you saw the Nanoswarm used by YU. Try and draw it out. Oh man, that is a
Nice
long shot.
one,
He
yeah.
even tanks the Prowler in order to take it. Zekin might likely give up some rooms. Juicy has his own showstopper, so he clears the room at B. This is Wolves tipping their hand.
This will get enough space for Lyser to get the plant
Replanting.
out right now safely. Spring on this lurk through A. Narrate is ready. He has eyes on the smoke. Can Spring actually catch a time right now? He hears them running away. It's going to be time for him to hit the go button.
Juicy will buy more time now. This is gonna force Sentinels back a little longer. Okay, Juicy tapped down a little bit. Oh, 56!
Hey.
Goes between his legs apparently. There's Spring.
Ultimate जाता है.
Lysol down to 1. Just Lysol left. And it's a
भाई वो
disastrous attack
पाएगा.
side on Lotus for Wolves. Not
अरे
really
मैं नहीं
enough
बजा रहा
rounds
था भाई
overexceeding
गाने.
them any sense of confidence. They were dictating the pace of the game on split. This time though, they were taking orders from Sentinels.
I just don't have that explosivity.
मैं क्यों बजा भाई? कॉपीराइट आ जाएगा गाने में बजाऊंगा तो.
Back on split. Sentinels looking elite right now on their own pick.
Zekin tanks that Prowler, knows he has the shot. Juicy clears B with a showstopper, but can't do much else with it.
Narrate, once he got that Odin online, he was so
Hey,
aggressive.
छोड़ दिया भाई.
Getting the kill with the off there, was taking advantage of the outlaw on the proper rounds. Sen really doing everything right. Wolves with no answers, couldn't deal with the Vice.
Classic comp, classic performance from Sentinels. Can Wolves get back in the game after the break?
Hey, everyone, make some noise, because we got Alexis over here in the house! Alexis, what are you up to here, you know? How you been?
I've been really good. We've been doing duo workshops for the VALORANT University.
मत बोल. नहीं भाई मेरे को नहीं सुनना हो क्या बोल. मेरे को नहीं सुनना क्या बोल रही है. सुन के क्या करूँ मैं? भाई गेम देख लो, गेम देख.
It's all happening here at the NKS Center in Toronto. Sen City have landed, and after a rocky start to the series, they look like they've stabilized. Time for your Coinbase Econ report here. Remember, this is a factor of the damage you've done divided by the credits you spent. So really about how much impact on the game you can have per credit.
Zekin bang up there, certainly, and that's even with Zekin buying Outlaws, dropping them, buying an AWP, still able to get so much value out of everything he was spending that cash on throughout the game, which is obviously also reflected in the score. Sen
कल कुछ 2 बजे बंद हुआ stream.
Especially when we're looking at the comps we have of the old meta, which is back as the new meta. 9-3 is just so tough for Wolves to come back on. The attack side was the favored one back on split. Let's see if they have it in them here. Spring, he's been hitting. But the rest of the guys, they need to come to life.
Let's make them dance.
All right, folks, we are moments away from jumping into the second half of Lotus. And like Quiet said, the challenge has been issued. A 3-round attack side for Wolves. To the Pistols, where it begins for them. A huge comeback. Not unlike the one Sen had to undertake on split.
Juicy had a tough time on attack. Unfortunately, was just sent in and isolated by so much of that utility. Was in unwinnable situations. Maybe here on defense is where he can turn it around. He was a star for the team on map 1.
Tentatively, Sen are starting to encroach here. Pass box, they've checked that. Babydoor, of course, untouched. In tree, Lysor is going to be waiting. Wolves may be looking for an opportunity to explode out from here, but they're going to have to make some noise. Getting rid of the door. Tree control takes.
Think so, be planting. Oh, nice one.
You shout on pass, he says. Still wants to overpush into the spike location. The race having to get a second, but it's on Zel's.
1v3 भाई ये क्या हो गया?
Heck of a job to do.
Well done from Wolves, just swinging out together there.
30 seconds.
1v3.
Players just kind of clumped up, playing by the orb, trying to get towards Babydoor. The exact start that Wolves needed, unless Zelsis with this Sheriff can.
नहीं भाई वहाँ पे कोई भी नहीं है.
Just not gonna happen. He doesn't have the time.
Long बेटे.
Simply no way. Wolves getting back into the game here on defense. Let's see if they can try to go on a similar run.
Just with the grenade out there, Zelsis hoping for a little bit to be offered up. That's not to be. The swing there from Babydoor for Wolves. Gets them onto the board here in this second half. A drought of rounds. Sen was stitching together 4 at the end of that first half. This play here, nice little double up. Spring pushes out to try and take
comeback हुआ था.
but the damage is already done.
And then you just have Juicy on the cross from sight. Just a beautiful setup. Simple, highly effective from Wolves. And they are going to fully invest up into this anti-eco round where Zekin is going to do the Juicy cosplay from the first half and go for the Bucky double satchel.
Yeah, perhaps to upper. Maybe with a dark cover to get him in there.
I'm getting deja vu.
Prowler comes out, there's also a wall there. Now over towards the mound side of things for Sentinels. Zekin still has his satchels, blast packs, he's caught midway through. It's the Marshal of all things that catches him.
John does actually recover that Bucky. Maybe he can have.
Fed बच गया, Fed बच गया.
Why are you holding the cross? Here come the swings from Wolves.
Once again 2v5, 1v5.
Solid stuff for Wolves. Why you? Just waited off the now, and John says, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, they say.
नहीं भाई नहीं.
Well, he gets his. Unfortunately, that is just the Marshal
Comeback
down.
कर यार वो लोग.
Take what they can get with the Bucky investment, which does end up being a little bit awkward into this. Zekin is just going to have to buy up into a stinger. Well, we've got 2 back-to-back rounds, I will say, for Wolves on defense, where the fundamentals are just looking good. Just playing, swinging out of these smokes together. Taking the fight to Sen as a unit.
Yeah, good defensive util over at B that sort of diverts Sentinels to the C extremity. And now the pleasantries have been exchanged. They mostly buy here for Sen. There's a C's attempt over towards Rubble, but nobody for Sentinels is in attendance. They're pretty quickly heading to C, but there's definitely some util that needs to be cleared out.
Again, like I mentioned before, so important to just try to get your orbs over to So you raise if you can, get as many showstoppers as possible when you're on this attack side. Sen want to get into this C site perhaps. There are 3 players ready to go, but the other 2 a bit too far away. We'll like to go to Narrate on account of him being the closest to the
इसके
ultimate
बाद
at the
और
moment.
2 टीम का मैच है.
So here's where great teams on Lotus attack side can succeed.
2 घंटा आराम से जाएगा
These early
उनको.
exchanges except some defensive util.
And now look at the difference here for how Wolves are approaching these A re-clears. They do have Narrate involved here. They can throw out some of this initiator utility if they want, but at the moment it's just going to be a snake bite for back. Rubble slowly making their way out together as the clock is ticking down to 35 seconds.
Nice all spotted, tagged up on the shoulder peak. Backing away into Baby Door is Juicy. Zelsa's now takes this opportunity to get some bead control. They can pinch on the wall, the raise, but Juicy sees an opportunity to come forward. That retake will throw.
भाई बस 2 घंटे क्या मेरे को नींद आने लगी.
Juicy's going to be waiting for them. That paint shell doesn't do too much to dissuade him. Paranoia though could be a problem for the Rays. Juicy on the corner, can't really see, banging, it's haphazard shooting. Effective enough though for Sentinels.
Nere was just so patient on that lurk. Bides his time, gets the free kill spring. Jump off from Zeki, gets out of the way to Satchel to win the duel. Now 1 for 1.
2 3.
To work with. Sufat has to be careful on this angle. Just a Guardian to play with. Bang, re-smokes up, forces YU to just push
तो बंद करने दे भाई मेरे को.
Sentinels are waiting for it with open arms. Converting
After long time.
on this attack side.
Nice fast trades from Zelsis to clear things out. Juicy was dangerous for a moment in Baby Door when he finds the perfect timing window to swing out, get the opening pick towards Rubble. But eventually from that position, you can just feel the walls closing in on him. You're just too susceptible to any utility coming through.
Sorry. I got you though. I like that. I like that from you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now heading into what will be the first full buy round for Wolves. Coach Fade going to call that second timeout in the game. Crucial. Down 10-5. Must win. This is the game on the line, not just the round. This would be Sen getting to match point.
Thought that was an attack side round from Sen that showcased some pretty good macro fundamentals for Lotus. Getting up on that C side, getting the orb, forcing out some of that killjoy util, bounce over to A, see what you can tease out there, start to pressure the player in Baby Door and eventually execute B pretty cleanly, all things considered. Wolves gave them a lot of map to play with, to be fair, and maybe that's the call. Maybe it's about being a little bit more proactive on one or both extremities here. Looking to take maybe an early Rubble fight. They've got a full bike here, our team from China.
Listen, so far, you still have to give them a lot of credit. They have defied expectations coming into this, going up against the hungry Sentinels who are trying to bounce back from a disappointing showing at Bangkok this year. Going out, losing 13-1 to Liquid. They want to start off strong with a clean 2-0 against a Wolves team that are just trying to make themselves known on the international stage for the first time. We didn't even think they'd be here.
Once again, this early action, one out by Spring now.
Always happy to just take a 1 versus 1 in Spring.
For all appearances, Sen are highly committed to this season. Yet that smoke towards Waterfall says they're coming again. YU is the stopping power. Mid-flight. All of a sudden, the options are limited for Sen.
And that is just some spray through after the door gets activated.
लैपटॉप ले ले 90% आऊँगा.
Quick on the shot.
भाई किसको?
That should be curtains on the round.
That's a devastating round coming out of Wolves here. That C control, YU basically locking it down himself. Look at the locations of Sen's deaths here. Failed B attempt. YU catching the crossing Zekin over.
हाँ भाई, मैं वही करता रहूँ ना भाई.
Money's going to be pretty bad for Sen as well.
मेरे को आपका कुछ पता नहीं और मैं कैसे लैपटॉप दूँ.
Look, that's just Spring so ready for, again, it's just that common Sentinel work position where you try to take a little timing peek. Spring too fast. Juicy too fast on that swing as well. They just shoot well in that round, but credit for isolating Zekin on that attempt to satchel in. Now we've got Kaplan going to call the timeout here. As Wolves are trying to make a little go at it.
Yeah, I mean, so far.
Second half, not too bad for them.
SEN able to convert their first gun round, take 3 rifles out of it. After that sort of
TK by
buy of the
TK.
Bucky and the anti-eco, Second had to make do with a Stinger. It worked out. I don't blame them here, though, sort of. That last round, far less elaborate in terms of how they worked the map. They lost a player very early in B main and ended up just having all of their eggs in that seaside basket. They got flattened by YU. Second just got headshot straight out of midair, so perhaps a call from Kaplan, hey, let's slow it down, let's maybe make use of this map, work it a little bit more. Make use of that Viper wall we're using on A.
Yeah, going to have to ensure that they're able to draw out a fair amount of that utility before they're actually getting in for the executes. There's sort of a light commitment too, like you can't have Bing try to teleport across in a situation like that.
They did that in round 15. They drew out a lot of util early before ending B. So the concept of a plan is there for Sentinels. See how they put it together now. Round number 17, folks. You're still with us, Toronto? That's what I thought.
All right. Sentinels on the eco round here. Just a stinger for Bang and a full effort to try and get out towards Rubble. Viper utility up to make the cross. Lysor again here defending. It's been a tough going for him on the map so far. Wolves would love for him to begin to heat up. Maybe he can get some confidence kills on the anti-eco just to get things rolling.
And they're wasting no time in getting this tree set up. And in fairness, Wolves don't have anything set up to stop them. They're going to be allowed into the A site. Pretty ideal start to the round for Sentinels. Now it's a matter of landing the plane as Wolves give the side up for the retake.
Second trying to get this really forward position. Cheeky little angle to play around this dark cover that's thrown down.
A nice little paint shells buys a lot more space. Oh, okay. Second, oh, he disrespects the snake bite. Brings able to deal with him. Little high-low set up now from the defenders as they try and get back in here. Nightfall thrown up by SEN. A big ping though off that horn apparently. Suvet's able to reveal much of the defenders and now Lysor wants to step up, have a crack at it too. It's only down to YU. These Elses. YU so little to work with in terms of teammates. Tara could be deployed, but in a 1 versus 1, he's got a face. Zelsis down. And it's going to be his rifle burst, the classic. All things considered, pretty solid round for Sentinels, but Wolves rack up another.
A lot of damage done. I do like how Sentinels were able to play that. Getting proactive, fighting towards heaven. They back off, absorb a little utility, try to repost, keep fighting. They were not slowing down with their effort to apply pressure to Wolves. Results in a lot of damage done. Now here comes the very crucial buy round for them. They're going up against the Wolves that have multiple high-impact ultimates to play with here.
Lid's definitely kept on their economy to some degree by Sentinels. You're right, we got lockdown. Viper's Pit to play with. Showstopper for Juicy. Bang with that TP across to Rubble now. SEN again thinking about A early.
Wolves really no desire to go for these hard fights towards A. They've been giving it up, letting Lysor just spot for the information. Late SEN, they're slowing things down. They're cutting noise completely, pressing up towards this site. I mean, Lysor could be in some serious danger.
Turned anti-flash. That door being toggled is more than enough to tempt him off of A.
Yeah, gets away at just the perfect time. This site is totally open, totally free. That being said, though, Wolves just have fantastic ultimates to play for a retake. Bang, trying to get that kill. Lysor is going to want to play patiently.
Of course, the temptation's going to be here for Sentinels to push off this site wire, but it's a dangerous proposition. That lockdown could be an issue.
He gets that Steel Garden activated here, by the way. This is going to connect onto everyone if he rips it right now.
Yeah, finds the timing for it. Why are you trying to step out of it?
I think they mostly got out of the way there, actually.
Like
yeah, time is dwindling, though. They're going to have to recommit quickly. Great opener from Spring.
Delta's down. There's going to be a push coming from stairs at a moment from Wolves as well, but John tucked in the corner. 1 and 2. And here comes Juicy. Showstopper at the ready, but he can't get in. Finally makes it onto the side. Narrate's going to be dealt with, but YU is out of the game. 3 up for SEN. Bang. TP cancelled.
They all had to get off the site, but the spike is still planted for them, and there's just not enough time for Lysor. He's forced to retreat. Great positional adjustments from Sentinels at the end there. Had the spike planted for them. Steel Garden, sure, it doesn't get the connections, but it just ends up wasting so much time. And that means Wolves waste the showstopper, waste the lockdown, all for naught. SEN on 11, creeping closer to the map win.
Juicy looked like he got seized as he was trying to come in with that showstopper, but still converted it for a kill. But just the spacing, like you mentioned, that still guarded forced. Then the Wolves lost another 5 seconds of time to make that retake happen. And timing's been a bit of an issue for them over the series at really important moments.
SEN bursting out into rubble with some haste. They've been getting this space on the map for free, and they haven't been getting re-cleared. So they're hoping that's just going to be the case right now, and they can pivot elsewhere.
The push up, though, towards Mound by Juicy means that he knows this is a bit of a fake. Now SEN are going to drift back in that direction. B main held 3 players at B for Wolves in general, so SEN make a good call here, heading to a pretty lightly held seaside.
My ult's ready.
Second gets the showstopper with a collection of that orb. Is he going to try to send it in? It's Bang teleport on the cross to break the crosshairs.
Awkward for Johnny, tries to crouch, but Juicy's waiting there, finds his second. Zelsa steps up, only for 1, it's 3 for Wolves' raise. Now the momentum out of SEN's court. Second can still go for this though.
Oh, that would just be so high risk. Certainly doesn't want to waste it. That being said though, this is a pivotal round. Maybe if they can get a kill first, bring it into a 2v3, then you can use it. But in a 2 versus 4, you're just not going to want to waste it. But look at the SEN economy.
30 seconds left.
Wolves have been able to keep a lid on it. They've kept them in that danger zone. And with just 20 seconds left, they're going to opt to save these 2 rifles, bring them into the next.
Narrate, pretty big series for him. I mean, Zekken came on your show and sort of said he had full belief in Narrate to turn up when it mattered. That he just needed that one breakout game to really show what he's capable of. There's a sense that he's still got more to show on this team.
He's been having a quality series here. Yeah, I really don't think he's even reached his peak with Sentinels yet. To me, he does have more to show. He can even kick things into a higher gear.
And that's a Wolves round picked up. SEN do not want to take the gambit with 2 guns left. Great little 3-piece for Juicy here on C.
This is another situation where you're seeing what Wolves are driving with. That is flooding back in, it's good fundamentals, swinging together, taking the fights together, and they're finding the kills in the Sentinels' transitional moments where they're trying to still scale deeper, get into the site.
Their fears.
All right, SEN, because of those 2 safe guns, they are going to be able to get a near full buy. Celsius does have the Stinger.
Okay, they got Juicy at 8 this time. Looks like Wolves are ready for a bit more of a rubble fight.
Wow, this is Nere trying to draw a lot of attention. Baits out the Nightfall while the rest of Sentinels will be able to get into this B site unless Spring tries to slow them down.
Too slow in a baby door here for Wolves. Spring's able to find one anchored in on the site. Sentinels forced away the one at Viper util.
It's just that Molly on the ground that once again isolates Zekken in the site and evens things up. Even this pivot to C slowed down on account of another Molly, but Wolves won't fully be in position to get in just yet. Hoping to spam through. Bang getting on low HP, but the Viper's pit will just further obscure the view from Waterfall.
Spike passed along to Zelsis by the looks. And now a bit of a nice cut even from Sentinels, but you have to imagine they're staying here because of the Viper's pit. Zelsis here with an Arc Rose to set up, and this is going to be a tough retake for Wolves at the best of times. They can't even counter pit this, Wyatt.
Spike planted.
Spike is going to be planted, getting through this pit. A nightmare, but at the very least, when Sufa does make his way over, look at the concern right now from Wolves about a flank towards B. They're doubling up for that. Oh, and it's just wasting time. Juicy can't win a crucial duel.
And he can't double up with anyone from Waterfall because of that pit. He's solo in that position.
The round is slipping away. Prowler needs to be used to spot someone out, hoping to get some spam through the pit.
Oh, 1 by 1, White, they set up and they're fed to the wood chipper. I think at this point, Superfat realizes there's no point forcing the issue any further. Lysor caught out, both guns stripped away from Wolves. With an economy still to be able to buy, that is a devastating round to drop to SEN.
1 round away, Sentinels from taking their first match here after struggling at Bangkok, going 0 for 2, sent home early. You could feel the frustration from them, the way they were speaking about that tournament. Zekken speaking about their failures to adapt as a team, to play together in the way that they needed to, and they've bounced back.
Marshall has decided to win the round.
For this final round 2, they're going to have significant ultimates to close things out. Wolves have got their full buy. Can they stay in the game? Nightfall ripped immediately onto Lysor. So much pressure towards his way.
Decken wants to get up here with this showstopper. That's a deep rocket.
Oh, he went for the snipe with that.
No catch though, Sealfat respects it. Things slow down a little bit though. Sen have not left rubble. But they can still pull out. We've seen this before. Bouncing over to another side after some early action here.
Well, Wolves will be more than happy that both ults are gone within the first 20 seconds and did not do a damn thing for Sen. They don't even really have much control of rubble. Juicy is pushed up towards box, has Spring on stairs ready to swing off of him. John is just trying to keep them distracted, keep them on this site.
That's an extra 5 to 8 seconds in which Wolves do think something's happening at A, even if John doesn't have any follow-up. That means it will be YU again that has to anchor this C site alone.
At this point, though, they're not believing it. Spring is getting over to the C site right now, and we'll be able to help YU on account of the delay from the mollies.
Viper's Pit now drawn out of the C side. It's going to be a tough ask to expect Sen to go there, so we're bouncing back. Time is getting short. 30 seconds left in the round, and the Vanguard appears to be Zelsis at B. Is A back on the menu?
Yeah, it looks like it. This is a very late pivot. They want to actually go into a B split. Threatening A hit second. Opens
it's
up.
Working. They're going away for the B side, and they got the drop on Juicy. The one pick at A draws the defenders off the B side, and now it's pandemonium from Wolves trying to get back in. Lysor with a double. Decken and bang for well away side. Now Zelsis out of the game. John clutching for the series. Spring and Lysor doubled up. Spray through smoke is wild. It's wayward, and Spring gets it to half. Now off of it. Looking to team up with Lysor here, and John has very little to look at. Somehow finds Spring, and he doubles down! The mastermind plants the flag for Americas here in Toronto. Clutching up the game as Sentinels walk away with the 2-0.
What a final round from Sen's IGL, John. Beautiful calling into that pivot towards B, catches out Juicy, and then clutches it out in the 1 versus 2. Sen starts strong, but man, did Wolves come out swinging. No one expected this game to be that close back on split. They kept trying to get in the mix on Lotus. It felt like they were always so close to maybe manifesting a comeback, but Sen were just too strong on their own map pick. Kaplan said in that halftime coach interview that it was tough to play against Wolves. They're playing a different style. We're playing against a different region, and our game plan, it's hard to get online. Put on Lotus, work to perfection, dominant defensive half. Sen are looking strong to kick off this tournament.
And in a return back to an old meta, a new meta, whatever you want to call it, it looks like Sentinels still have all the tools they need to put a compelling performance forward on these maps. Ridiculous comeback in that first map. Great.
I think it might have actually been in the media for today, was, A, my teammates are either equal or we will just take him over as a team. That's how we're going to beat him. They don't seem extremely individual focused, and I think that's a big shout here too. But let it be known that Texture statistically has been performing well, and I could definitely see this being a gigabanger between the two.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's so interesting to me how like skilled these players are, but how different they are in terms of personalities. Because like Ospas up there is completely stoic, and as one of the more veteran players on this team of rookies, he's actually the more level head, keeping his team calm, even though he's still gonna be fragging out in server.
Yeah, and for the casual viewers, you know, maybe you thought, oh, Loud, Aspas, Leviathan as well, and now coming back with MIBR, Ender, is it really as simple as Aspas and Squad?
Yeah, no. I would say it is as simple as if Ospas joins your team, you're going to globals, because you think about MIBR. This is an 11th place team last year. I mean, MIBR has never done much in VCT Americas, but all of a sudden, you put Ospas onto this roster, you sign a couple of cracked out rookies prospects from Brazil in Shenum and Cortesia, and this team is on top of the world.
I feel like you cannot give enough love to the rookies, especially on this roster. While Ospas, a dominating player for years and years, absolutely in the GOAT debate, if not the GOAT, his rookies, the rookies on this team, are activated so well by Artzine and Fraud's system, and I think they are a crucial part of how they were even able to make it this far. I mean, the shots they were hitting, the highlight reels I was seeing out of Americas from Xenom and Cortesia, and I mean, I'm not even mentioning Verno. Verno, especially in the mid-rounding, the vocality, has been incredible to watch.
Yeah, I think it's been really important too, because stage 1, Ospas still top.
E tanta gente me ajudou, então é só o primeiro passo. A gente ainda quer ganhar o VCT Américas, não é só a classificação que a gente quer. E a gente vai por isso. Muito obrigado, a gente ama vocês.
Pouca pessoa sabe do que eu venho passando esse ano, em questão do meu pessoal, em questão da minha família. Então, com certeza essa vitória foi pra você, pai e mãe. Foi pra você.
Cara. Filho, e aquilo que nós combinamos lá atrás quando começou, primeiro o melhor da rua, depois melhor do bairro, depois melhor da cidade, melhor do estado, melhor do país e melhor do mundo!
You know, it is just such a beautiful and heartfelt moment. Artzine, how much of a moment that is as well, because he's a guy that stuck around when times were terrible for MIBR, when they were down towards the bottom of the standings, and now he gets to be sent off by his father to come and try to win a title on the global stage. It is just incredible.
Yeah, and let's not forget, some of the fans, they were not kind to him. He got
here in Toronto.
You reckon the bromance carries? That's the buff?
I mean, yeah, the bromance, also Osboss. I don't know if you forgot about Osboss. We have Osboss in Toronto, Yinsu.
According to texture, it doesn't mean much. But speaking of the players, it's time to send this back down to the stage and welcome back Osboss, of course, MIBR and Genji.
Versus MIBR.
We have a lot of rookies on this stage. But the main dish, I guess, is gonna be Aspas going up against Texture once again on the global stage. They're not surrounded by the same players this time around, of course, with a new map pool coming in as well. We spoke about this already, and we anticipate a highly, highly competitive match.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I see a lot of similarities between these two teams. Neither of them play super crazy, like, you know, peak of the meta type comps. There's a lot of older style compositions, a lot built around their duelists, finding opportunities, especially jet picks out of Osboss, these types of things. And it comes down to a strong macro game built around very talented players.
And I know Fraud is someone that prides himself on the strength of his game plans. And when I'm sunset first map,
instant sunset.
Pick.
I actually love the bans as well. Makes a lot of sense.
Super target bans here coming in. MIBR do not want to play on Genji's Lotus. Genji absolutely don't want to go anywhere near Icebox. No, he tears that up. But honestly, what we get is a pretty interesting map pool because A, Sunset, haven't seen these teams on it, but it's two very small maps that aren't so much focused around getting an operator online up until if we get to a Decider Ascent where it becomes the duelist show again.
Man, these three maps, I could not be more excited for this matchup. Sunset first as a pick on its first introduced into Masters Toronto this year. I truly wonder what comp is MIBR going to run. And Genji on Haven. Genji's always ran master classes on that map. Always retreat to watch the macro.
This is a very, it's risky, but it's also not, right? MIBR picking the Sunset. There's no footage of them on this map. We wanted some of the other teams to just have the balls to pick it, but they haven't done it so far. And if they were to take map 1, I think their chances are incredible in this series.
Yeah, honestly, I'm curious if MIBR are going to be rocking with the Neon on Sunset, because I think that
the
agent
Osboss
super good
Neon?
there. Osboss Neon?
Yeah.
I think it's time, personally.
Yeah?
Finally, that would be such a treat to watch.
I wouldn't hate the Waylay either. Is that too much of a cope?
Osboss Waylay?
Yeah, I reckon.
You can imagine. It's just...
Yeah.
I don't think I've even seen him play it so much in rank, so that would be a treat as well to watch.
I fear I am not a Waylay believer, Sue. Sorry.
If it was anybody that can Waylay on this stage, it would be Aspas.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Yeah. Thank
Don't
you
know
for
if I believe
enabling
in
me.
that.
Thank you for enabling me. But what about the other side of this for Genji? Again, not the same roster since we've seen them at Champs, as Masters Shanghai. And as we take a look at the agents, so like Texture is going to be hovering the Reyna.
Yeah, you get your little Waylay hover in there as well. I do want to say, like, in regard to... Wait, actually, that's a deadlock insta-lock for Foxy.
Yes, it is.
Wait,
And
that's kind of fire.
Are we seeing Viper deadlock on Sunset here on defense Genji? That would be insane.
That's kind of whack, because, okay, first of all, like, usually you're seeing, like, Cypher or Vyze is almost must-pick on this map.
Right.
You're almost always seeing that dedicated Sentinel. Deadlock as a solo Senti means you're very limited in terms of actual information you have.
I think what we're seeing here is Genji's approach to the idea that this map is typically incredibly attacker-sided. I know we haven't seen any of it at Masters Toronto, but in scrims, this map is incredibly attack-sided. So them having the Deadlock and Viper and the smokes on Omen to try to hold the initial choke might be their solution to that.
Wait, I love this Sage. No, go back. There was a Sage hover for a second. That would have been so cool. Are we gonna?
We're gonna get the Neon.
We're gonna get a Neon head-to-head.
Yeah, so we were seeing Osboss pick up a few Neon games back at the end of playoffs. He was playing it on Lotus primarily. So this is not out of his agent pool per se, but he does not have a lot of games on the Agent professionally. But on Sunset, it's the right choice. I'm ready for it.
It's gonna be a hell of a first map here. Of course, with Gen G back on the global stage, we gotta bring back your casters, Achilles and Paperthin as well. Have fun with this one.
Oh, there's nothing we can do but have fun with this series. MIBR going up against Gen G. Texture v Aspas once again. This is going to be a banger.
This is one of the most hype matchups we have coming into this Swiss stage. Incredible players across the board. A lot of players who have done it all on the biggest stage. Yeah, Texture and Aspas are going to be the first two names everybody's looking at, but there's so many talented players beneath them that are going to be doing some big things. I've been really impressed with Zenom, watching him over in Americas. He's done a really good job. Verno has slotted in so nicely for MIBR coming over to this team. He has integrated so quickly. Beyond impressive what he's been able to do.
Yeah, obviously both squads as well having some of those rookies here that are finding their footing for the very first stage at a global event. Ash there for Gen G. But Toronto, are you ready to get into this series? It is certainly going to deliver. Let's go ahead and jump right into the pistol. Aspas taking a tad bit of damage here in mid, just a stray shot through the smoke. Finds him down to 75 HP.
Trying to find a way in through the market. They're going to be given access to the Deadlock util there, blocking off the front of that site.
Headshot. Connecting there onto Verno. Ash with the cleanup, able to find him. Sheriff in hand. Aspas again taking damage, just eating it here on the entry. Does manage to crouch down, stays hidden for the moment. Foxy 9 finding Cortezia, however, at the same time, and now Zenom's going to be eliminated. Aspas will fall. It's going to be Artsy to try to clutch this out. Finds the first, cannot quite get that transfer. Gen G taking the opening pistol.
Yeah, looking really clean. Looking like they've got some good ideas behind this Deadlock. I think this might be the first time we've seen Foxy play it that I can remember. But anyway.
He's played it, but obviously not on Sunset.
Yeah. But this is really curious to see because they've got some ideas to try to block off that front B entrance, and then they overstack mid to make sure that they're going to be able to clean up any entry from that angle. And they do a phenomenal job of it. Ash, another big question mark, one of the newest players we have here in Pacific on Gen G. He has stepped in nicely as that info initiator generally, was playing Teho quite a bit for them. Now, of course, with the nerfs, going to be switching over into the Sova role and gets 2 big kills with that Sheriff to open things up. A bunch of Guardians for Gen G. Shouldn't surprise anyone. They are big fans of that gun.
That they are. So a little touch of damage there. Orb going to be picked up. Fast track that Rolling Thunder. Swing onto the corner. Karon, the one tap, the spike now on the floor. Slide across the way. Karon still wreaking havoc. Caprizia able to peel one back. Karon will fall. A weapon to be lost, but that's about it. Texture sliding right up into Verno's face. Greets him with a 3K, and it's going to be Gen G. Overall, a very clean anti-eco.
Yeah, so far so good. Got some good reads on the map. I mean, for Gen G, it's all about map control. That is the way they want to play this game. They want to pressure you. They want to use the Sentinel utility to really block off one site, the access to it. They want to make sure that you're not going to be able to work that part of the map. And then let Texture control another side. That's typically how you're going to see them roll. And that opens up the map for Munchkin to try to find his timings, to go for those lurks. I was talking to Coach Alex from PRX the other day.
Karen's off to the races already.
He's having fun, and oh boy, we already lose Aspas.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. 6 seconds into the round. There's 2 players playing there inside of B main. Aspas dead, and that's all of your entry power taken out of your hands here.
But look how aggressive they are on the map right now. You've got Karan all the way pushed down A main. He has so much info, and they get that early kill, and they immediately use the safety and the comfort of the Deadlock utility to fall back onto the B site to open things up. Now, this is good work by MIBR to open up mid. Just got Ash here watching it right now.
Hold it back is Ash. Okay, welcome to the global stage. Finds himself 2 quick kills. Verno going to be eliminated. It's now just Shenum to try to stay alive and hold on to this weapon. No chance of recovery whatsoever. To swing in, finds a headshot. Will stop it from being a flawless. See if he's going to be able to find some more to slow down the bankroll here of Gen G. Because right now it's about to spiral out of control. Some noise made. They know that he's tiles, and Karan is there on the prowl. 3-0 start with a bonus conversion. Gen G looking strong thus far on Sunset.
Yeah, I mean, really out of the curve right now, our Gen G. And I was going to say that Coach Alex from Paper X told me that he hates playing against Gen G. He finds them to be one of the most annoying opponents to go up against because of the map control to take, the way that they're trying to just cause problems on your flanks, on your backsides. They are so difficult to get through. They lock down sites so well. And all of that came to fruition there with a little help from Ash just having a tremendous double kill up at top mid. That is huge. Some stingers, couple sheriffs for MIBR. See if they can find a thrifty and get themselves on the board.
Could be a big way to try to just get the ball rolling here. Drone able to spot out at least the one. Not sure if Ash had gotten scouted. Cage down, Foxy already within it though, so not going to be giving over any information, and that means that Cortesia does get taken down. Outspots now, once again, dropped. Texture trying to play off the one way. It's going to be good for one, get some damage across onto the other. They want to try to recover this weapon. Ping out onto Verno. He's able to go ahead and scoop up the Vandal, a chance to maybe deal a bit more damage to Karan. Low on HP, but still finding the headshot. Back to back. It's a 3K for the Omen. 4-0 start. Gen G not allowing any thrifties.
Yeah, they're so active on the map, putting some pressure on towards A main. Foxy again, really clean. Trying to get Aspas going. Karan having none of it. Texture just says, well, they've got weak guns. I'll just see what I can get done. And Karan just steady. A player who has impressed last year. Had a few ups and downs this year. But overall, we still know what he's capable of when he's at his best. And he is a difficult player to go up against, especially on the defender side.
Yeah, so early timeout, necessary one called here from MIBR. See what Coach Fraud's going to be able to do to try to right the ship here. Get the players back into the action. Thus far, just one kill on pretty much everybody on MIBR at the moment. Ospas 0-4-0. Munchkin, no charges towards a Viper's Pit. He has gotten zero involvement in any of the action, hasn't died, hasn't gotten an elimination, just has one assist to his name.
Maybe we can look at Munchkin's econ rating after this.
Oh,
see
boy.
what that's going to look like a little bit. But, I mean, Karan is finding...
Flat zero.
It is, yeah. He doesn't need to do anything. Just buy some guns for other people. But this has been pretty solid. I mean, the defensive ideas here, getting really aggressive at the points of attack early, then kind of peeling back, you know, taking that early man advantage, and then forcing MIBR to make some moves. And they've been hitting some disgusting shots along the way. So Gen G, one of the teams that... You know, when it came to the three teams that came out of Pacific, a lot of people are saying this may actually be the best team of the three. You know, despite them falling to RRQ there in the grand finals, I think this Gen G team, if they keep looking like this, who knows? But still a lot of work to do, of course. And Sunset, a map that I was pretty curious about for them because going back to 2024, they started off really hot on this map. They were really, really good. But as the year went on, they fell off. They started to lose to teams in Pacific. So going back with a very different comp, though, a very different look than what we saw last year.
And that was one of the things, was that inflexibility from Gen G, saying, no, we think this is still good enough, not really being willing to make pivots in the compositions. That has changed.
I mean, the only thing you're keeping is the Sova and the Omen, so that's really impressive that they've been this well prepared.
Big reveal on the Munchkin. He's able to strafe back. Karan dropping down off the top here, and Market re-swings the corner. Chen, I'm going to be taken down. Texture, second kill. Cortesia hits the floor. The operator singing out here for Gen G, and the timeout is not going to lead to much of anything. It's a flawless in response. Gen G now 5-0. The economy once again kicked back here for MIBR.
They're everywhere. They're so active in their micro position. They're going high, low on you. Karan swinging out around a box when you're not expecting it. He starts out high, they go low. Munchkin's up on top of the box. And I mean, this is so difficult to read the defensive positions of Gen G. And you probably wonder coming into this map, the desk talked about it. This is an attacker-sided map. Usually, well, Gen G gets to pick which side they go for.
Then you can't. Can't do that.
And another big thing, that operator, once it gets into Texture's hands, that's when other teams start to crumble. He is one of the best in the world when it comes to that gun.
Quick little jiggle peek there on the angle. Damage not suffered. 2 Guardians here for the side of MIBR. Rest of the players with Sheriffs. These Guardians, they are weak though. Glass Cannon. Karan going on a walkabout, strafing down. He's going to catch Util in hand here. Let's see, trying to set up for that fault line. It falls to the wayside. Karan looking for a little bit more. Munchkin going to be taken down. Karan does fall. Verno, some very nice shots. Brings this back into a 3v3. Weapons to be scooped up. As Dart, however, will still get the reveal. Weapon upgrades here. as the kid Cortesia joined in as well, so he'll take the Guardian. Texture getting on a deeper line. Realizes that they're not playing around a main, so now mid has to be a concern.
Ash going to be called upon again to maybe come up with a huge play to try to shut MIBR out of the round.
Makes noise.
30 seconds
Cuts back
left.
over in towards Boba. The slow creep up seems like he's got a read on this, but is he going to be able to hold the line? Faces forward, finds the first. Ospas answers back. 2v2. Foxy9 still here on the site. Ospas on the peak, immediately shut down. What a shot from Foxy9. The net getting the connection, and Foxy getting the headshot. 6-0.
What a round here for Foxy, a player who had a short stint on the bench for Gen G and has come back with a fire underneath him. He has been incredible for the second half of stage one. He has been lighting up Pacific, and he's doing a phenomenal job again. I mean, his site anchoring has improved so much this year. He is such a fearsome opponent to try to get through because of that incredible individual skill that he has. And when he can make good decisions on the back of it, Gen G will be in full form and will be a fearsome opponent for anybody in this event.
4 ults to work with here on the side of MIBR. As swing around the corner, there's the Hunter's Fury. Ospas having to dodge these. Falls down to 45, quick cancel. As Shenum is able to find one. Munchkin dealt with. As Karen arriving here at the back of the B site. WOL still able to go ahead and hold them in position. Stems the tide. I like Gen G have a read on Shenum's position here at the moment. Finds himself in market. Rolling Thunder going to be coming through. Karen on the TP. Gets himself safely into the back of sight once again, dodging out that stun.
But because of
Real
Ospas,
way to scale. Yeah.
They've completely taken over the A site. This is something that MIBR likes to do, is to send Ospas on lurks to find open space or find flanks.
It's about to find Texture. Here around the corner, the slow walk forward, scoped in, trying to clear out the angle, and Ospas has the headshot. Up now on the floor, MIBR pole position to try to get the first round win. See if Shenum's going to be able to hold down this angle, but Karan almost finds him sleeping. Still trying to flush him out. A bit of a back and forth here. One that Karan does manage to win. Spike now going to be planted here on the A site. Hunter's Fury available for Verno if he can play in a disconnected position. As Ash gets flushed into the open, and he just takes the fight, and he takes out Artzine's head. Hunter's Fury no longer a viable option. They don't have to play close. Sends out the recon. Cortesia gonna be dead. Verno now into the 1v3. Finds the first to defuse, being held. Shock Dart will connect. The spray is good. Looking for the clutch. Another Shock Dart at Karen's feet. Takes him so damn low, and Verno gets the fade away. The 3K into the Red Bull clutch. MIBR are on the board.
Man, that is so back and forth, but Verno breathing life here into MIBR. And that round looked like it might be Gen G going from a 3v5 into winning. These shock darts and the follow-up spray, perfect. Just understanding these angles. Talked about at the beginning how impactful he's been coming in for MIBR. And that right there is a huge round.
Huge performance from him. I mean, he's got the whole rest of the team. He's got the same number of kills collectively there. Verno's impact certainly being seen. Heavy stack on this A site, though, from the side of Gen G. Three players in position. Ready to try to intercept this attack.
Changed up the deadlock positioning.
Spots position noted. Foxy ignoring that. Tries to go in for the ultimate, but it's going to be canceled as he gets shut down. Fantastic shot there from Artsine that saves Ospas' life. Tucked into the corner. Hunter's Fury, no damage found, no ping reveals. MIBR making the decision to go ahead slowly back away. Munchkin quite far forward, though, in B main. Maybe able to catch them by surprise. He's ready to swing out, but they know that they've given up their space, and now he's been spotted. Has to peel back.
Oh, Cortesia had an opportunity there to take the operator out of the round. Couldn't quite convert.
Would have been a big pick there, but he's going to make up for it by finding the headshot there on the Munchkin. Relay pulled to hold him in position for the time being, but ping reveal off the neural theft. They know exactly where Texture's at, but they can just ignore him. Go for the spike plant.
Spike planted.
Overdrive is available. Do they want to try to commit that here in the 3v4?
They've got no real great ability to pressure. Well, they're going to go for it.
Pops it, fast lane, gonna be sent, some spam coming his way, slides in, is able to find Artsine, looks for Cortezia, but Karen will be there for the quick trade out. Now we go into a 2v2, both players playing here in main. Smoke down, the TP in, defuse being started. The overdrive though from Aspas, tearing them asunder as Ash so very low. Eventually will get flushed out as Verno collects both kills.
Another wild round. The pace of these have been incredible, and a lot of that is because Gen G normally likes to get aggressive early in the rounds, but this time they play a little further back. They give up some of that space intentionally. Foxy9 was still hanging on to his barrier mesh as well. Wasn't able to use the ult or given the opportunity to throw down some of that, so you couldn't really stall them out. And they took a lot of map space because of that. They're able to claim some mid control with Cortezia, keep Texture off balance, and then find a really nice kill onto Munchkin. Isn't able to really find those lurks just yet. Now he's got a judge, trying to get things turned around. See if they read this.
Economy whittled away at here on both sides. But do they want to actually commit into the position? They're reading it, but they're unable to find the opening kill. It's going to be even more damage dealt. I'm taken very, very low. Shots out. Cortezia having to back away, but now they've had kind of both site access points. Door just slammed in their faces. What does the call end up being here for MIBR?
Well, yeah, you remove the Neon, you remove the breach. It's so difficult now to make an entry. You got to get a good paranoia, good recon maybe, but it's still a tough ask for MIBR.
Recon confirming that presence still here. Feels like the entry in from market from Cortezia is going to have to be absolutely monstrous.
It's been pinged out by Gen G. Oh my God, Ash.
I mean, he only had 2 HP, but
30 seconds
still
left.
just able to find him blind through the smoke off of timing. Verno similarly does get tagged up as well. He's now out into the open. Foxy9 makes his presence known. Net will not connect. Verno have to fight his way out of a very difficult position. He's able to do so with a nice shot there onto Foxy9, but getting the remainder, not quite going to be possible. Gen G get themselves up to 7, guaranteeing a lead at the half.
Really impressed with Ash so far here on his international debut. So it's really hot. One way to get Munchkin going, get him into a tricky spot with a judge and find some value. 3 kills for the IGL. He just loves to find those moments, find those weaknesses. You know, he's learning from what he saw in previous rounds. Hey, they're not really taking a lot of B main control. If they're not contesting it early, I bet I can tuck into this corner and catch him completely off guard. He's just so good at reading his opponents. Ash playing a little bit further back, setting up for the crossfire with Texture. Inside A main is a weaker buy. Verno with the hero rifle.
Little bit of noise being made here. Texture just walking forward. And, oh, a little bit of movement. Said he cannot find that shot, but he quick scopes back in to take down Aspas. 3 peaks, finds himself a second. Just one by one having him fall, but Artsy with a nice shot. He's able to go ahead and put that operator back down onto the floor.
It's bought a ton of time, though, for the reinforcements to arrive for Gen G. And MIBR seemingly don't feel like they have many other options but to commit to this.
Not exactly the weapon that you want to pick up to try to utilize on the attack on this site, but Shenham is able to make work of it. Get some value from that operator. There's still an opportunity here for MIBR, but now it starts dwindling.
Spike down A.
Spike going to be left on the floor. Just trying to slowly swing further and further. Try to gain some line of sight into A, but now he's going to be smoked off. This operator not likely to find much value at all.
30 seconds left.
Shot in from behind, and
Player
Verno
standing.
unable to find the kills. And I'm just going to be ping revealed out. Not much else to be done here. Has to go for the timing shot, but Ash will flush him out. 8-2, Gen G back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, you just get that operator right back over to Texture. A little bit off on the first one, but the follow-ups were good. You just don't have many other choices. Love the way that Karan is playing on site, not giving Zenom the chance to really do much with that operator. Never gave him the angles, was aware of the situation. Good coordination, good comms for Gen G. Really in control here on this defender side. And it's gonna have to be another timeout for MIBR.
Always the toughest pill to swallow, having to commit both of these in that first half, but just given the circumstances, the state of things, it's absolutely necessary.
No, you have to. I mean, they just really haven't been able to find much success other than the rounds where Gen G wasn't playing aggressive early, where they weren't taking control of the mains. Those were the rounds that they were able to get it done, and Gen G just went right back to creating pressure early. And that is completely throwing MIBR off. They're not used to teams being that aggressive. But Gen G, again, loves that map control. That is what this team is all about. It is setting up your team to make it impossible for them to get through. And even if they do, then you've already got lurks going. You've got other things happening, and you're able to respond quickly.
All right, well, back into the action. We'll see if this can lead to a couple more round wins. MIBR still with an opportunity to try to make this an 8-4 half, recovered as much as humanly possible. They do have a Rolling Thunder available to try to make that happen. But at this point, feels like it's pretty much necessary. Granted, they're playing into a very defending-heavy composition with Foxy9 on that deadlock.
Good paranoia, though.
Let's get them to go ahead, back away from the forward angles. Barrier mesh set up to try to cut this off, and just even when the spam out, are able to go ahead and clear out one of the sonic sensors.
Look at Karan.
Flush against this tripwire here.
And Munchkin right behind now. Even Texture starting to make a move. Sees the tripwire, but
look how far back they're playing. They're expecting this Rolling Thunder to come through to try to entry onto the site.
they don't want to give this up until the confirmation comes through that they're going to be planting onto A.
Without any real issues moving forward, they're just not going to commit this ultimate, so they don't send it out. And now that flank around the back has been noted. Nazboss able to win the fight here on the forefront as Foxy9 does get taken down, but Munchkin around the back. They weren't ready for that second layer. He strikes, finds 2 kills.
Cage triggered.
Not seen with this Rolling Thunder, could be monstrous though for the post plant. He's got it set up and ready to go. Hearing Texture trying to sprint forward, trying to get ahead of it. And he will just get shut down. Timing though, Munchkin swings around the back. Ospas found. The time is getting away from them here as Cortezia hits a great shot out from Ali. It's all on Ash now, and he cannot get it done. Huge round from MIBR. They get themselves a third.
Yeah, that is a dangerous round. And they do a great job of avoiding some of those traps that Gen G wants to set up, but the TP there, I believe, heard by Xenom. And that shuts down Kara, and then Munchkin somehow finds 2 back there. Cortezia, though, really starting to come to life, hitting some snappy shots. Much needed here for MIBR. See if they can find the 4th. 1 more to go in the half.
Neural Theft available, as well as from the shadows. Hunter's Fury, 1 charge away for Verno. Some very solid tools about to be available. Munchkin, though. Viper's Pit, finally available. Took a while. We'll see when that comes into play, if at all. And we'll just go ahead and try to lock down any access towards this A side. Texture playing forward, finding 1. The breach now eliminated. The re-push, and ooh, he is playing on a knife's edge. Karen at the same time going to be picked off. They now know that Market is at risk. Just for the re-peek. Finds Shenum. Texture just single-handedly trying to hold this down, but Ash does get involved. Finding 1, finding a 2nd, looking for the 3rd. Runs out of bullets. It's just Cortezia, no corpses to try to play off, to try to get a reveal. Now being hunted here. Just sending the ult, trying to get any kind of stray tag. None to be found there, but Munchkin is slowly approaching around the back. Holding the angle here for the exit. Cortezia can find this. Maybe he can make a run, but Munchkin will be able to get it done. 9-3, Gen G way out in front of the half.
This is better than I was expecting at all for this team.
Not at all. Well, a lot of work to be done here from MIBR. We'll see if they can get the pistol when we come back after halftime.
Watch me win, then watch me do it again.
All right, we are back and about to go into the second half here on Sunset. Gen G have been having a whale of a time. 9-3 the scoreline, and Karan kind of the big carry that we're seeing at the moment here for Gen G.
No, I mean, he is right at home on the international stage. As we take a look at the Coinbase Econ report, I mean, he is so valuable, and it's obviously his shooting. You see him when the observers cut to him and he's just popping heads. He looks great, but you got to watch his positioning. Watch him on the minimap. The way that he's moving around sites, he's so difficult to track, and he's so aware of the situations that are his opponent in. I mean, I always go back to that Xenom moment when he had the operator, and he never gave him an opportunity to use it. Even used a smoke up there to make sure that the angle that he was going to come through was really unfavorable. It's all these little things that he does as the Omen that make him one of the best on the planet.
I mean, it was the thing that kind of caught everybody's eye immediately. It wasn't just his aim, but his movement, his mechanics, his game sense were always so damn crisp from the very get-go. But MIBR now turn our focus to this squad to see if they're going to be able to make a massive run back. Some people believe in curses. MIBR certainly hoping that that is true as they go into this pistol, a must-win. Otherwise, Gen G will find themselves at double digits. Clear on the recon. Quad push basically out into mid. Tezia out over towards that market door. Let's look at the shove them back, but okay. Well, Karan, for all the praises that we sing him, he's going to be the first one to fall. It's a nice shot to come through from Artsy.
Meanwhile, Munchkin's just free roaming over at A. I mean, you do have Verno a bit close, but he's going to get some pretty easy access to the site. Although MIBR starting to get a read onto this. If they've left this space open, they're aware of that negative space. Let's see if they can stop Gen G from getting in and getting a plant going.
Barrier mesh. Difficult to try to clear out when it comes down to these pistols. Immediately going to start spamming it, though, try to work this down as quickly as they can. And there you go. Nothing found there off the net. Couple shots exchanged, but no real damage going to be taken here. Still the player advantage for the side of MIBR as they get ready to go on this retake.
There's 3 Sheriffs in the hands of Gen G. They can connect.
Trying to find a timing. There you go. Munchkin coming up big, finds 2. Brings it now into a 3v3.
Look at this reclear.
Is Sheriff not going to be recoverable, though, for Foxy9 unless he can make his way all the way across. Paranoia does get sent. Shock Dart damage going to be found as Ash falls down to 11 HP, but still is good. Going to be good for 1, and now they know exactly where Verno's at. Revealed by the recon, the slide in. He's completely, utterly surrounded. Now netted, locked on the 4, but he gets the tap and brings it into the 1v1. Swings out, runs out of bullets. 2 bullets remaining, and what a shot! The time is not there, but my God, Verno! You are an absolute menace!
Oh my goodness. He is on fire today. 14 kills. He's now tied with Karan in the kill department. I mean, if he just has a few extra seconds here, but the delay, the stall, Ash in particular, the way he's working around the box on site, very, very heady.
And it's bittersweet because they cannot get the round win conversion off the back of that gorgeous play. But my God, Verno.
They're buying up here. MIBR.
They are.
Yeah. They're feeling the pressure. They're getting a little aggressive over towards A main, but Gen G being very patient. They're wary of something, and they're right to be so. They're taking their time to make sure that there's no deep push-outs. I mean, you saw it on the pistol round that they sent 3 right out of top mid. So you got to be ready. Some kind of aggression. Artesia holding a tight angle with this stinger. Couldn't find any shots to connect, though.
Not going to do much at that distance. Playing for the information.
On the floor.
And Cam. Got to catch him off guard.
Scanning ahead.
We've now confirmed that there's a force buy. So Gen G going to maybe play around a bit differently here. It's going to be a quick pivot across. 3 players towards this A site.
Still being very methodical, our Gen G. Really taking their time. Still looking.
Very loose-lipped about their movements here. Texture's just stomping around. Trying to see if he can get any kind of reaction out of them. Paranoia goes across the site. It's not going to find either of these players at Alley. Shadow's able to find that kill, and that can't be a timing potentially picked up. Texture now going to be paranoid. Aspas does get a dink at range, puts Ash down to 70. Weapon Not going to be scooped up. Foxy's able to find one now. Trades it out. Net connecting. Spike planted. Drone hunting around here from the back, but with the double face, Gen G are able to find Genom, getting that Bulldog right back out of their hands. Texture dead here on the side. Ash across to the opposite side as Munchkin gets the spot out, but cannot get the shots to connect as Ospas is doing so much damage. Swaps to the classic, and he shuts down Foxy9. Rotates over, gets a weapon upgrade, back over for the defuse. MIBR, the force buy, finding value as they will get themselves another round win here in the second half.
It is amazing how many headshots that Ospas is hitting with that stinger. Some great shutdowns as well, but they are so well drilled there. I mean, these hits that he's getting, Foxy doing his damnedest, but Ospas just too darn good. That was a risk that paid off big time for MIBR. It's their map pick. They've got to turn it around. Let's see if they can keep it going here on this defender side. A few sheriffs going to be bought up for Gen G. But otherwise, not much to speak of.
Net does get the grab there, but no way to play off the back of it, so just be removed. Munchkin, quick little peek in towards the B site. Tiny bit of damage suffered. Grabs the orb. Looks like he's trying to fake back, but camera's still set up here in main.
It really
Now
feels like, yeah, it really feels like Gen G is just trying to bait some responses out of MIBR. Munchkin's trying to get the download on what these defensive setups are going to look like, so he can kind of figure out as this half goes on how he can maneuver around it, where he can spot the weak sides. Because so far they haven't been able to find too much. MIBR has been holding their cards pretty close to the vest, so they're going to have a tough execute coming through here potentially.
Cage set up, a little bit of spray through. He's able to find some damage. Eats quite a bit of damage in response. Down to 14. His exit trying to escape. Shock Dart will chase him, but Ospas Cortezia able to find one piece. Ospas Inferno now. The dynamic duo getting involved. Is Dart with the classic. Will get the shutdown mid-slide. Gets a headshot to try to make a go of it, but can't find much more damage there. 3 players surviving. MIBR up to 5.
All right. Now Rifle's going to come into play for Gen G. You have Foxy9's ult Annihilation available for Deadlock. Ospas starting to heat up. Slow start to the map. 7 kills now. He can keep picking it up. Definitely MIBR could come back into this. Bruno has been their shining star so far. They're going to need one of the best players in Valorant to really start stepping up. Here goes that 3-man push. Down mid again. This time though, don't like what they see. Recon there. Texture's just gonna send some shots into the smokes just to make sure there's not gonna be any more aggression. Gen G's gonna, I thought they might consider to take some mid control, but instead they're still just watching to see what MIBR is gonna do.
A recall on the cam there for Cortezia. Doesn't get cleared out. Seems suspicious though, seeing the wall. And gets a very solid read on Munchkin's position. Seems like it's MIBR, the ones that are getting the download now.
Yeah, they're just corralled right now, Gen G. They're gonna have to hit some pretty nasty shots to get out of this.
Ospas over the top, drops down to the worst possible moment there as Texture trying to escape, slides back across the wall. Shots flying, but the grab comes in. Cortezia being dragged to his demise. Foxy9 this time able to find some value off the back of the ultimate. That now leaves Shen up low on HP. 7 health, getting the kill. Onto the first. Foxy9 playing ring around the rosy. He's gonna rotate across over towards Boba. There's the ping reveal. And there is the shot. Gen G not letting MIBR build up the momentum here. They get themselves another round win off the back of the bye. Still suffer some heavy losses though. Neither team's economy going to be in the most stable position.
And the fact that Texture gets out behind his own fast lane before he gets killed is incredible. The timing as well, just a bit unfortunate for Ospas. Just wasn't quite prepared for Texture to be that pushed up.
Any other weapon, he's dead to rights.
Yeah, and then that opens up the Annihilation behind it. I mean, that's just the way everything kind of crumbled there.
Revealing area.
Same dart here from Ash round over round, just trying to make sure that these pushes out into mid aren't coming through from MIBR. Allows them to funnel their focus forward onto the sites themselves. Just a Sheriff in hand here for the Cypher.
Kind of an awkward tripwire setup.
And going for the diagonal. Runs out of bullets, running straight back. Texture spawning out Verno. Sends out the relay bolt to try to hold him back. Will be able to do so successfully.
And you've got a lot of util here on Foxy9. He can decide where he's going to funnel MIBR into. Sets up the barrier mesh at market.
In the pit. Clear, but I mean, they want them to have to only go through market now. The pit's going to be invested. Locks off back of sight Boba. Another grab net at the ready here from Foxy9. Slow up the approach. Sends it, catches on the 2. Get the clear fault line. Gonna connect on to Karan, but he's got the paranoia. So as the util gets exchanged, it's still going to be Gen G who end up coming out on top. As Karan gets the spray down on the final 2 players, and Gen G get themselves up to map point in flawless fashion.
They're just really dialed in today. The crossfire setup, Texture finding that first kill to open up the site. Cortezia, nothing he can do. Foxy looking really sharp there, catching Aspas on the end of the slide. Karan there, tucked into the cubby on site. Just incredible the form that Gen G has come into this opening match of Masters Toronto with. A lot of ults though for MIBR.
Well, the last force worked. This one though, a bit more desperate and off to a rough start. The Cypher dead, the spike gonna be planted here. Less than 20 seconds of the round starting. Karan up over the top, about to catch Eclipse. Gets the readjust. Said I'm gonna be taken down. And that was some of their heaviest hitting weapons available to them as Aspas desperately tries to scoop it up. Karan finds the headshot before falling. Hunter's Fury fishing for the rest. It's a 2v4. Ooh! Hunter's able to find the first. A great headshot there on the Texture. Shock dart up and over the top of Foxy9 on a timing, able to just go ahead, peek in, finds the kill, and takes Verno down to boot. 13-5. Gen G looking electric here on MIBR's map pick of Sunset.
That is an unbelievably hot start on their opponent's map pick. Crazy good stuff for your Masters Shanghai champions. They are looking to add another one to their title.
That they are. Well, we're gonna have Haven coming up next. We'll see if Gen G get the clean closeout or if MIBR can rally back.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Let me show you how the Fox does. Oh man, I was just getting warmed up.
Spike defused. family here with Genji Solo. Now, Solo, congratulations on that huge win on Sunset. I just wanted to ask you, what was your initial thought when you saw MIBR pick into Sunset? 감독님, 선셋에서 대승을 거뒀는데요. MIBR이 선셋 픽하는 걸 보고 좀 어떤 생각이 드셨는지 궁금합니다.
아메리카 팀들이 선셋을 좋아하는 거 알고 있었고, 그리고 저희가 뭐 작년에 보면은 약하다고 평가할 수 있기 때문에 픽할 거라고 예상을 했었기 때문에 저희가 준비를 잘 했습니다.
Well, yeah, I kind of saw that sunset pit coming because NA teams, America's teams, they really like to play the map. And our sunset last year was a little bit weaker than other maps. So I really was aware that they might pick into sunset. So, you know, we prepped our sunset and it's looking good. So we're good to go. Thank you, Solo. Good luck.
That sunset looked more than prepped. You can't ask for a better start for Genji here. I'm your host, Yingsun. I'm back with Ender and Mel. Maybe I cursed it by saying it's going to be extremely competitive, but almost flawless for Genji.
I mean, they just crushed. I mean, overall dominance throughout. I mean, starting on the defensive side especially, I felt like just their control over the map with their Viper Wall, the sensors, MIBR just never found a way to really solve their attacking rounds.
There was really no way it felt like for them to get into these rounds, and I feel like Genji, can we just talk about Solo's prescient vision of the veto? He predicted they would look at their Sunset performances from a year ago and expected them to pick it. That's just like some prescient, like Lisan Al-Gaib, like read into the veto.
Wadib.
Like actually insane. But
Solo Al-Gaib, sorry. Carry
oh
on.
My God, don't start
I had
again.
a vision. I had a vision.
Oh my God, but it felt like really there was no way for them to get their footing. Genji had an answer at every turn, and I feel like in the server, if you're MIBR, you're confident enough to pick Sunset, you're probably playing pretty standard comps in practice. And so to show up to the match and you see double smokes, Viper, Controller, Viper, Omen, and Deadlock, that can be a little annoying to deal with.
Yeah, on the side of MIBR, they had maybe a couple of moments of
individual brilliance.
Yeah, individual brilliance. Thank you. That wasn't what I was looking for. So let's take a look at one of them in our HyperX reflex of the day. And it was, of course, Verno winning pretty much. And how is this the round that they win? This is an unwinnable round.
Look, 1v3, but his shock darts are so good into the spam shot to get the kill. And then just baiting this corner. This shock also hits the Omen. Takes Karen down to 1 HP. It was brilliant play.
There also into the smoke, the air strafe in.
He turns his gun out too, so he has like less time for the player in the smoke to react. Just really clutch stuff.
At 0-6 as well. This is what you need from your players. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough because Mel, the side of Genji, Caron, Texture, they all showed up. You can see the experience on the side of that team.
Yeah, I mean, we see Caron top fragging, but like you said, I really do feel like it was a team effort. When I'm watching the game, I wasn't feeling like someone was explicitly taking over and carrying them to the victory. It was actually the other way around. I feel like as a team unit, they really plugged every gap that was available. It felt like they knew every time MIBR could possibly be taking a timing. I know there's a round that comes to mind where Aspas is holding, and then they have like a perfect timing to hold as he's coming up. Just really awareness, great awareness from both sides from Genji.
And looking at some of those individual players that were just popping off. I mean, Karen, for like the majority of all game really, but especially early on, was seeing so many of these rounds just getting multi-frags, 2-3 kills. And then once Texture got the op online, it was just game over for MIBR. He was so mobile with this on the Neon, quick repositions. Like half the players he's swinging aren't even looking at him, and he was so confident refighting these lines.
Oh, this though, the fact that he managed to just triple dip, quadruple dip, is that a thing?
Yeah,
for an
I
offer,
guess.
absolute for Texture, yes.
Yeah.
It honestly looked a little bit disrespectful. At a certain point, like, Genji are up big numbers in these rounds, but they're still re-swinging and refighting lines that, you know, if they maybe felt like it was going to be a closer game, they wouldn't. They'd shrink back. They'd play numbers. No, this team felt and knew they were better in the server today.
He was right, though. Aspas almost caused no issues for Genji whatsoever.
It felt like Genji, like the fights they were taking, they were really confident, but I never would categorize them as like bad engagements either. They were smart, good fights that were needed and necessary for the round to win. Although I will say, when I saw switch sides and I saw Genji on the attack pistol, 3 sheriffs? Oh my God, I love that from Texture.
Eardrum warning. Whoops.
Oh my God. I could watch this guy's highlights all day, honestly, but seeing them pull out 3 sheriffs on the attack pistol, it just kind of felt a little BM almost. Like I wonder if that was even really their pistol.
I would love to know from them, honestly. Maybe we ask them after the game. But let's talk about the next one, Haven. And now this is on the side of Gen.G. They chose this map. They managed to win MIBR's map pick. How dire does it look right now for MIBR?
It's tough, because I don't think MIBR adjusted to the comp that Gen.G was running on that map, and they play a similar thing over on Haven, where you're going to see the Gen.G Viper. This is something that if you're an America's team, you just don't have practice against.
I wonder if maybe they can think of some game plan. Maybe the game plan they might already have for Haven didn't really apply on Sunset, so maybe there's a chance for MIBR, but I'm honestly concerned to go either way for this match, because I just feel like a total jinx. I mean, I hyped it up to be this big giga banger, only for the first map to be a complete blowout. Like, give us something.
It could still be a giga banger. It could still be one.
Absolutely.
You know, we could still get map 3 as well as we look at Haven again. Tejo not being picked whatsoever today already, and we don't anticipate that to come out on Haven either.
No, and honestly for me, I think like, obviously you're going to see compositional changes, all these different things. I don't think the micro is what I'm so concerned about from MIBR. What I look at in MIBR is a team filled with rookie and young talent, right? And when MIBR debuted in Americas back during kickoff, Cortesia and Arten were supposed to be like the next, you know, superstars out of Brazil. They were supposed to be those rookie sensations. In their opening match versus 100 Thieves, they bombed out. They did not make much of an impression. All of a sudden, everyone that had high stocks on MIBR, it's down into the gutter. But that team still went on, bounced back immediately in their second series, went on for a top 3 finish in Americas. I need to see those players come back, not tomorrow, not the day after that, but in this game now.
They're not messing around. The insta-lock here, and Mel, Aspas back on the jet.
Oh, I mean, now this is a comfort roll. This is the Aspas we wanted to see because, frankly, he had a bit of a quiet map, but it is rare that lightning does not strike twice in the same place. I very much doubt we're going to see an Aspas that we saw in the first map.
Oh, you said that no experience for them in Americas on that Viper Haven. That is Aspas, and that's the loud stuff.
Yeah.
They made this.
Yeah, it's been a long time, right? The Viper is so effective on defense. Get ready for Gen.G to just keep flooding the sights behind their Viper smokes.
Well, Gen.G about to 2-0 MIBR, Achilleos and Paperthin. Let's take us into map 2.
Don't mind if we do. Let's go ahead and get map 2 underway. Gen.G 1-0 start here. Looking to close it out with their map pick of Haven. MIBR, we need to see the rally back. We started getting the gears turning a bit there on Sunset, but it has to be from the outset here on Haven.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a confidence pick for Gen.G going into one of the strongest maps for MIBR in Haven. They beat G2 on this map. It is going to be a very different composition that they're going to be running, going back to the very stock standard Haven composition that you see most teams run with the Jet, with the Sova, with the Breach. With Gen.G, they still are going to keep texture on that Neon. They're going to have Munchkin on that Viper. Some curveballs there, as you're going to see, you know, trying to work around that Viper wall for Munchkin. He had some hit and misses with it on Sunset, but you got to be really head on a swivel here for MIBR, because they are going to be all over this map on this defender side.
Action ready to start. Texture just spamming out some shots here, but finger reveal exchange. We'll go ahead and back away. Quickly though, sights set on B here for MIBR as Snakebite is going to be cycled forward here. Slow them up and make them reroute. It's going to push them in towards Foxy9, who's holding close. Just the classic Paranoia goes across, and he's going to be able to find not much there. It's Karen does come away with 2 kills. Munchkin now holding the door, tries to swing out a little bit wider, but ends up getting taken down. 2v2, but Texture here a hell of a lot faster than they might have anticipated. Clears a recon and finds a headshot. 3 for 3 on pistols, Gen.G. Once again, off to a ripping start.
And all it took was just a little bit of resistance at that B site for Aspas to pull off and then go right into the garage. That's been a great position for Foxy9. He doesn't get a kill here, but he's setting up for Karan. He tries to play off the Paranoia, but it's the full forces of MIBR. It's even trades all around. Munchkin takes an off angle coming out of the link door. And then Texture on the back of sight. Like you said, unexpected with a Sheriff. Seems like he's just going to stick with that. A couple Guardians and a Bulldog otherwise.
A bit of a lighter buy here for Gen.G comparatively. Bit more flexibility as far as how many they could afford to lose on the round. Looks like Texture going to be taking that first contact, and again, down. Reach out of the equation here. Tiny bits of damage taken from the classic shot. Swings in, looks for a little bit more, but it gets whippy, and he ends up stunning himself into the corner, and he cannot escape. Paranoia cross does come in from Karan. Everybody from MIBR now clustered up here on this B site and into the meat grinder. Is able to just get mowed down. Cortezia quickly getting himself across into sync and get this plant, at least get the money. Maybe try to find a bit more damage, but no weapons. We're able to get scooped up there in all of the chaos, so it's still just the classic of the drone might have caught a glimpse. Free swings in, Munchkin strikes him down. All weapons gonna be saved as Gen G start things off 2-0.
Yeah, I mean 3-0 in the pistol rounds for Gen G. They're just in cruise control today. Texter continues to just dominate in first kills. He was 5-0 on Sunset. Picks up another one here. He is really just shutting them down at the point of attack. I mean, this is everything you could want as Gen G. You're getting Texture online. You're getting good, solid sight holding from Foxy9. You're getting good coordination, good crossfires, everything you could ever want. And they look really well drilled here, really well prepared for Masters Toronto.
They actually give that over to Karan and try to get that from the shadows online a bit faster instead of Munchkin's pit. Munchkin's somebody who very much favors information, so I think he wants Karan to be able to have that so they can just TP in, scout a position, and get a read from there.
He doesn't seem to be like that concerned with his ultimate. He, you know, especially on this map, Karan likes
to barrel spotted. Oh, but Munchkin not able to find that kill. Let's put him down to 20. So Foxy, quick peek out from the garage doors, does trade it back.
But Karan will use that TP aggressively on this map. Get some information, try to find that extra flank angle. So right in the wheelhouse for Gen G. Slow push up from A long. Ash right at the door, has Karan and Texture there to back him up.
Quick little jiggle peek there. Top of the box, able to spot him out. Paranoia further try to slow things up, now has that smoke cycled in. Tailwind still available here for Aspas, but it looks like it might be maybe reading that they do have a stack set up. Swing gonna be coming through now. I can see it's gonna be taken down. Verno, Aspas, however, answering back a couple kills, and Texture gets tagged down to 57. Player advantage now here for MIBR.
It's a nice pause there for MIBR, recognizing that Gen G might get aggressive out of that position.
Texture swinging down in towards Sewers. Cannot pull the trigger fast enough. Ends up falling. It's now down to Foxy9. Looks for the first, can't quite make it happen. A triple face forward. MIBR this time preventing the bonus conversion.
Yeah, MIBR is a team that will play pretty slow sometimes on these attacker sides. They're going to take their time. So you're going to be quite like you're going to see in some of the other regions where the attacks feel a little bit forced. This is one of those rounds, and MIBR does a great job here. Good calling by Artzin.
Let's go, let's go!
And they're able to catch Gen G as they try to spring a trap out long A. That basically breaks the round open. And back to kind of an interesting setup here. Texture over at the front of B with Munchkin. They're holding.
Set up there.
Yeah.
Standard wall from Munchkin. Across that front of the B site into the A axis as well. As bite combo ready to go here at the door. Swing in though, and Aspas just wins the fight against Foxy9. Taking his head clean off.
That's what you need.
3 damage found, but that's about it. Otherwise, walking away relatively unscathed. MIBR, another solid start to the round.
Ash trying to take some map control. Push pretty far up, but again, MIBR happy to play patiently. Wow, Ash.
He's going to be rewarded. Slow drift forward. Letting Shenham, it's not quite ready. Elman now going to be taken down. Pivot cross towards C. Looks like they're giving us a consideration. Cortezia to try to win this position. Win it, he has. Tucks back into the corner. Karan now just trying to run him down before the ping reveal comes in. He's eventually find the kill. Has to back away. TP's out to safety. Paranoia, SEN. Doesn't quite connect.
30 seconds left.
After Truck to try to hold back that C-link door access, but Karan pushes forward again, being rewarded for his aggression, finding Verno. Just tucks into the corner. Artzin able to find that stun. Gets himself into a corner as well. Try to hold down the same angle as Aspas.
Last player
Push
standing.
forward, they're not ready for this timing from Karan, who's just playing so fearlessly. Gets himself a 3K, and it's now down to Aspas to see if he can try to clutch out the round. The defuse already held the half, and Ash hits the headshot. Gen G 3-1, they maintain the lead.
I mean, Karan is just in demon mode today. He is absolutely just changing rounds in Gen G's favor. A good early win for Ash on a trade as well here. That's a huge one right there on to Zenom. You're really changing that round. You're denying access to the A site, and they have no recourse. Even though that early kill on the Foxy 9 by Aspas was very nice, give them a little bit of hope in the round. Gen G is just in cruise control, and Karan, he is made for big stages, it feels like. He is just fearsome.
No spring of the trap there outside of A long. Ash just playing back.
Right there.
Out to safety. 2 Guardians again invested here for the side of MIBR, similar to what we were seeing from them on Sunset. Considerably fewer Sheriffs, though. 2 players with classics.
And Gen G respecting this eco. They're giving up a lot of space here, trying to play behind the toxic screen of Munchkin, anticipating that this could be an A hit. A little bit of attempted lurking being done. Spot on the Aspas, though. And that's going to send MIBR into a bit of a pause. Let's see if they rethink this hit or not. But this doesn't change much in the equation for Gen G.
Ready to go here on the entry. Ash, though, dodging out the fault line. Spam into the Cloudburst to try to flush Aspas out. Unable to do so, but the stun is still there. He will end up getting picked off. Cortez is going to try to go for a lurk here, but Foxy 9 hadn't rotated quite just yet, and now is still going to be in position to hold down this C site. MIBR trying to make up their minds here with just 28 seconds remaining on the clock. Seems like it's going to be this B site once again. To get ready to push forward, but Karan is still here.
About the last player you want to see in this situation.
Wait out the wall. Cycle of smoke. The plant can be stuck. No way to interrupt this. Seems like he might have caught a glimpse there. Sense of the paranoia forces the reposition from Shen up now. Fast lane in. Texture starts scaling forward, and Foxy 9 still ever present over on that C link. Comes away with the kill onto the enemy breach. Position no to the TP there, and they're just right on top of him, knowing exactly where he's going to go. Brennan will find one more to stop it from being a flawless, but Gen G now stretch the lead by 3 rounds.
They're just in cruise control. At every twist and turn, they're just making phenomenal decisions. Here on this entry, Aspas trying to create some space, just gets shut right down. Foxy 9 with the timing on the counter lurk. Texture just trying to clear that space to make sure they can get this defuse safely. And it's good to go. Just always having fun.
Always having a good time. There's a timeout call going to be used here by MIBR. Know that they need to have heavier impact starting on this attacking side.
Yeah, and there's a lot to consider for MIBR in this round. You've got a couple big ults on the side of Gen G. You've got the lockdown, you've got Texture's ult, and you're one away from a couple big ones yourself. You're one away from the Hunter's Fury, one away from the Rolling Thunder. So those are things you want to make sure that you're considering and making sure that, you know, you anticipate that Gen G's going to try to contest you for some of those orbs potentially. So making sure that you're safely able to get those, to set yourself for those executes, get to that post-plant scenario, make things a little bit trickier, because it's been tough to even get the spike down cleanly. I mean, Gen G is just all over the map, and their mechanics are extremely on point to boot. So see if they can find some success here. Maybe this timeout will be the one that can start turning things around for MIBR.
Yeah, it's going to be a critical timing. Lose this one. Economy again down in the dumps.
Yep.
See if they're going to be able to find those orbs, get those ults online, utilize them. There's still time to run this back and get themselves into a favorable position at the half. Gen G, though, the money starting to really get stacked up. It's only Texture, whose economy is a bit in flux, but has that overdrive behind as well. Let's look at the read here from Gen G. Triple stack on this C site. That's where the lion's share of MIBR are looking to go, at least to try to get the orb.
Waiting for the turret contact, potentially.
Thrown out, no Aspas, it's so unlucky! Swings right into the spray as Texture struggles to clear a drone, but he'll kill the GOAT.
It's just been that kind of day for MIBR. That's just brutal. No other way to put it. Munchkin Gonna tuck himself into that same corner we saw Ashen earlier. See what kind of success he can find, but he's all alone, and you've got a 3-stack from MIBR.
Cage popped. Munchkin looking to reposition. The push about to come through. They're suspecting him on the opposite side. He sprays down for 2. Can't quite get the third, but the damage is still dealt. Munchkin just so clean with the reposition.
It's unbelievable. The game sense he has. It's off the charts.
Now the 2 remaining players from MIBR worlds apart. Shenum does manage to find one, but the spike is still being ushered
30
forward
seconds
over
left.
towards his A site where Ash now notes him, takes him down to 50. TP forward, both players now arriving. Barely a full HP bar between the 2 of them, and Ash just holds down M1. Finds the kill, the relay bolt connecting, texture slides across. They make it a bit closer than it would have appeared, but it's still 5-1.
And now you've got every ult available for Gen G. Some counter ults available for MRBR. They couldn't really get any of those orbs. They couldn't get into a position to try to get these ultimates, and it starts with this.
Don't show it again.
Oh my goodness.
That is just so damn unlucky.